Let's go.
Are we all good? We're about to start.
Should we get one of those like $1,500 GeekVerse drones? Yeah.
I think we should.
And some of those hoverboards.
Looking like Jared Leto.
Why do you want a drone?
Why
It doesn't matter if you want a drone. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 71st episode of the GeekVerse podcast.
Did you say 71st?
He's just trolling me.
Yeah, I'm speaking old time. You know,
old time.
I want to be in the moment. Like, what are they? Method acting like Jared Leto.
Yes,
you know?
much like Jared Leto.
Improv.
No, not improv at all. This is, if you've seen by the title, we've been hyping it the whole month, whole week. Suicide Squad review.
Mm-hmm.
I am Travis Snell. Down to business.
Down to business.
No fucks given, Travis
No
Snell.
fucks given.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. I'm ready to go. I've been
That's
like
a
a caged
long tagline.
animal this whole day, waiting, just like
Tear this review apart.
Oh yeah.
I'm the magic biped. Dylan Musk.
That was a different weird order.
That was a weird order.
Well, I feel like no one ever is
Everyone
antsy enough
jumps
to
in?
jump on it, so I go for it second.
I'm Kyle Smith, the rookie.
Rookie.
The rook. I am Kurt Mabatzer, the
My favorite chess piece.
the average. The average one.
Someone's got to do it, right?
Yeah, someone's gonna be average.
I am Taylor Totter.
Taylor Totter.
That was my villain name.
Was it? For what? I'm not too scared of it, to be real.
Well, you put up those pictures, and I didn't know we had to put up squad names, and
I
someone
don't even have
commented.
it. Don't worry about
Someone
it.
commented saying, "I like how Taylor just put Taylor." And I freaked, and I thought that's stupid. I saw just Travis, and everyone
I
else
read
has
your
all these
rant.
cool
That's because my
names.
picture is awesome. Go look at our Facebook podcast or Facebook
My
page.
photo was awesome. Mine was a full
They
person.
call me
I
Viper
like
fan.
yours because it was blue.
Viper.
I didn't like that. Other than me, the rest of you just chose like the gray and colored
Yeah.
background.
What?
Anyways,
Not impressed.
whole another time.
Yeah, I'm not even in there. So I'm so
Impressed.
confused.
Before we get into Suicide Squad, we'd like to welcome Kyle Smith. He's the new official member.
Round of applause,
Yes.
please.
So
And
new
your sound effects.
Yeah, new official sound member.
Yeah.
The sound, yeah, he's
our
going
sound
now.
guy.
He's gonna make sound effects the whole time. But
Check 1, 2, check.
okay.
But
But
you're gonna have to beg for initiation now.
so yeah, if you've listened to Undynamic Durant Repeat, you know who he is. If not, this is Kyle Smith. He's gonna podcast with us in this big sausage fest today. No Jessica today.
Oh, yeah.
No secretary. You know. So
They're all gone.
let's get into this. This is
This is gonna be a fun
one
one.
of, if not the most anticipated movie of the year. I'd say it's definitely high up there. We've been talking about since this podcast started.
I feel like we have been, yeah.
From the Joker to the trailers to Harley Quinn to the
They've
tone
had like
to the
600
music.
to 700 trailers out
Oh
there.
yeah.
Back when I thought it was a TV series, then that was a movie. Yeah.
So, I think we should start with like our little overall thoughts of the movie. We'll get into some
Are we gonna do it
pros,
out of 10 this
cast.
time?
No, we'll leave the
Oh,
10
okay.
score to the end,
Okay.
and then we'll just give like what do you think coming out of the theater?
Hmm.
We can start with Taylor. We'll go this
General
way.
reactions.
We'll start high and go low. I don't know what all of them are saying. I just know like I'm a low if you follow my Twitter at Travis B. Stale.
There is some rage on there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It could be the steroids as well, but you never
I
know.
don't follow him for
Road
that night.
rage.
I'm gonna refollow him today.
Yeah.
Vicious.
It was only 6 tweets, not too bad, you know.
Really?
Only 6
Oh, yeah.
Did you
6?
direct them
Yeah.
towards like Jared Leto and stuff?
No, but I did unfollow him today.
Oh, yikes.
I'm not a big Jared Leto fan to begin with. I have many reasons. Not that I hate like the guy personally, but just
Yeah.
like things he said and acting stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna follow him. I'm taking the journey. I want to like him. And then like as a mini spoiler after that, I was like, I can't even give him one follow on
Oh,
Twitter.
wow.
So, but I'm not that.
If you want to
bad.
come on the
probably
cast,
lost
though, if you want to come on the
Yeah.
cast and talk to us,
Yes.
Oh, I would love to talk to Jared Leto. I'd love to.
You probably lost a lot of followers.
But no, I'm- But like, well, I think we'll
hey
talk
man,
about
all publicity.
we'll talk about it after we do reviews and like the controversy with the Rotten Tomatoes and whatnot. But like, I'm not that fan who tweets at Jared Leto, hey fuck you, blah blah. It's
Yeah.
like he's just doing a
Personal
job.
attack.
I didn't like. It's amazing. I
What,
didn't like
what
his
you mean to
take.
say is that you don't do it on your own account. You have a sub troll
Yeah.
account. Where you
Oh yeah, Devil 69
Jared Leto.
66
6.
2K.
Six.
Yeah.
Y2K.
Y2K.
I don't know. Taylor, what
That
did
was
you?
the best troll name you could come up with on the spot.
Hey,
Devil 69, 66,
It's the
Y2K
worst
6.
Yeah, at Twitter.
420.
Everyone who tuned into this, they're like, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah.
No, Taylor, save us. What do you think about the movie?
Well,
score. Say
to
at
be
the end,
honest-
but you're overall walking out.
Well, you know, when the movie started, like, that Assassin's Creed preview popped up.
Oh my
god! I know. Here we are. I was thinking this movie's off to a great start. I'm in.
I actually. Okay, go on.
I fell away with the Wonder Woman trailer.
Wonder Woman trailer was great on the big screen. Yeah,
that was great.
No, when the movie started, like I don't follow any of the comics of these characters. I don't know what to expect at all.
Mm-hmm.
I only know like Joker, Batman. That's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
So when they started dishing out like these quick introductions to the characters, I liked it. It wasn't like I thought I would need a lot of explaining done to learn about them, but I didn't. They just cut it up, summed it up really quick, served it out. It was perfect in my opinion. It wasn't too much, and I found like within the first little bit, I got hooked on these characters right away. After that, I don't know. I was just so involved in the movie.
We were just along for the ride.
I was along for the ride.
You were strapped in.
There were certain parts that I could hear you going, making like or stuff like that,
like
and then I'd click out of the snare and be like, oh, Travis doesn't like that.
You don't have the balls to kill me. Oh yeah. By the way, if you just started watching, this is he hasn't dropped any spoiler review. So if you haven't watched it, come back. Like it says Suicide Squad spoiler review. If you haven't seen it, don't watch this. Come back, check it out after. We're talking full spoilers. We're getting down to the nitty gritty.
We're breaking it down.
Yeah, we're not just doing a 20-minute like, oh yeah, that was good, it was bad. No, we're going scene by scene. We're breaking it down.
This house.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. This is 24-hour cast.
Yeah.
Let's go. No. Sorry, I just wanted to, before you said spoiler and then some.
No, that was
very
smart. You gotta warn them.
We're gonna get a petition to block Ethan.
I have to say, probably my favorite character starting off, like I really liked Deadshot to begin with, but as the movie progressed, I just started to get more interested in Killer Croc for some reason. I don't know. I thought he was just sitting back and doing
He gives
his
off
own
the
thing.
Ninja Turtles vibe.
He does.
Oh my god.
No, I honestly, I got a kick out of him. Like,
I don't know what it is about him.
I don't know what it is about him either. Like half the time,
You
like
enjoyed his 7 lines in the whole movie?
I did. Like there were lines that I didn't even expect.
Could you understand the lines? Because I felt like it was Bane who like drank acid.
The only line I couldn't understand was at the end when I want a big TV. I thought he said that, and then when you see the big TV,
He got his big TV.
Oh, is that what he said?
I didn't know that either. I had no idea that he asked.
I think I heard one of his lines.
I knew I heard "I'm beautiful."
That was my favorite. To be honest.
Why didn't you laugh in the theater then?
Yeah, no one
laughed.
laughed.
No one laughed.
Let's get on track here.
Let's get on track.
Quick review. What do you think of the movie?
Yeah.
And then we'll go.
This is gonna be wild.
Just like the movie,
it's
Mr. Croc. Okay.
Okay. No, the movie went on. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty cool. I'm a sucker for cameos, I will say. So when the first Batman scene popped up, like you leaned forward in your scene,
Really
there
well
in your
done.
seat. And then when the Flash popped up, I didn't expect that at all. It just suckered me in more. Cameos, I love that. So, and they dumped them.
They dumped them.
They dumped them
all
Well, they
over
did.
the
They
place.
dumped them all over you.
They-
Alright, so for me, actually, I was going to say the Wonder Woman trailer as well. I know it's not really the movie, but when I first saw that trailer, it was Comic-Con, right?
Yeah.
I was like not really into it. I was like, that's kind of lame, but on the big screen, I'm getting hyped for that movie.
It looked good.
So
Yeah.
I will say that.
A lot of things look good in that trailer.
One thing in particular. I actually liked this movie overall. I thought, like, obviously, the main comparison is like BBS, and I thought it was much better than BBS. The thing with BBS is like before going into the movie, you already knew like exactly what was going to happen. With this movie, the only thing I knew what was going to happen was that Slipknot was going to die, and he did.
Oh yeah,
That's
we
the
all
only
saw
thing I
that.
know.
Yeah.
Especially that he's the one guy that didn't get an introduction.
Exactly,
You're
yeah,
like,
no,
this is nothing.
Like, I was
this
like, who is this guy? Then like 5 minutes later, he's just dead. It was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. Didn't need to know him.
So yeah, I mean, I had fun with it. I thought it was pretty good overall. I'm gonna save my stuff for more nitty gritty stuff, but I like it overall.
Nitty-gritty, yeah. For me, I was really into it in the beginning. There's definitely
Dylan walked off. That's it. That's
Yeah.
all you're hearing from Dylan this week.
I liked it. That's all I need to know.
I was really into it, especially from like the beginning until I don't know what part it got to, but like it's just like it just felt like a switch got
I
flipped.
think I know what part it got to.
But it was just like, yeah, or I think it was before that stuff, to be honest.
Really? That's where it switched for me.
But
I'm
anyway,
like,
yeah, no,
we're in trouble.
I was really into it. The music, like we talked about, it was overloaded, but I liked all the songs. Obviously, I think they were overplayed a little bit. They they had a lot of songs in like quick successions, which was kind of sketchy at parts. But
pretty sketchy. Yeah.
Me and Kirkland were talking about this very quietly in the theater, and I was like, they're going, and I'm like, all they need is like a Michael Jackson song, an Eminem song, a Jimi Hendrix song. 5 minutes later, running outside, and like Eminem was going. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I'll get into that later.
Yeah,
but, like,
that was pretty
I just
fun.
had to before I forgot that because I'm like, these are the only 3 they need because like they play every other fucking artist in the world.
But yeah, going into the movie, I didn't know like anything about it. I didn't know like any of the characters other than like the main ones really. I did like the introduction things. I think that was pretty cool. You kind of get like an idea of who they are and stuff and like where they come from. Yeah, I really like Will Smith. I have a soft spot for Will Smith's character. I liked him from the beginning. Harley Quinn, in my opinion, she was like perfect. It was just like, because like when we were talking about the trailers, we weren't sure if she had like that accent, which kind of threw me off because I was like, she had the perfect accent in Wolf of Wall Street.
I think
that Brooklyn accent, right?
I was talking about this with Kyle last night. I think for the trailers, they probably redubbed it for just her to be American, so it's just to make sure it's clear voice. Trailers, that happens all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that was definitely a pleasant surprise.
But yeah, no, I was really pumped. Yeah, and
it wasn't as thick as like Wolf Wall Street. I would have liked it a bit thicker, but just the fact that it was still somewhat like Jersey.
Yeah. Like there's
whiny
parts where I'm like, it sounds just like Harley Quinn from Arkham Asylum or animated series. Yeah. So that was awesome. But like I said, once I got to that point where it kind of like flipped, like halfway through the movie, I was definitely like losing faith on like what I was, because I don't know, I was just like really hyped on like everything that was going on in the beginning, and then it just went so downhill so fast, I felt. And like overall I did really like the movie. It's not like the things like for you, I know like there's parts where it just ruined it for you, where it's like it didn't ruin it for me. There's like I'm still riding on the highs, so yeah.
And that's good. That's definitely good. Yeah. And I think it's just like before, like I go, it just sounds like you guys have like a lot more highs than me, and that's probably why. Like I have highs. There's stuff about this movie I actually. I'll let you go first.
Oh,
but
Brooklyn.
Yeah, no.
Also, I meant like before I started.
I mean,
like,
just overall, I'm not doing my rating or
rant
anything, but I didn't want to get into the nitty gritties. But
if you listen to the podcast, it's probably a week you should check out the live stream. I don't care how you listen, but this is definitely one. Like I think it's gonna be worth the.
Yeah,
but some fired up faces.
Like I told Travis, like I had no expectations going into this. Like BVS, I was kind of like, I kind of hope it's good, right? But like this one, you're like, I like praying that it's good, right? But I was
said
like,
that when we put on our mask, I'm like, just be good.
Yeah, I was like, whatever, you know, if it's bad, it's bad. If it's good, whatever. But I liked it. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on this train of the Wonder Woman trailer. Again, it was
3
amazing.
for 3. Yeah,
it was so good.
So
got me so stoked, and also kind of worried because after watching this movie, I don't know. I hope it's not gonna be the same, like any continuity at all. To be completely honest.
Yeah.
I feel with Suicide Squad or
it's Suicide Squad. You got it right.
Yeah. I feel really indifferent. There's parts of the movie I really enjoyed and I really liked, and I really want to like this movie. But there's some parts that kind of just ruin it for me. But I'm trying to be very optimistic about this situation.
I like it.
Yeah.
I you know what? I do like it, and I think I do like it. I think more than BVS for the fun side of it.
Yeah.
Than anything else. Like, yes, there's a lot of moments for me where it's like this is a lot of humor and this humor is kind of dead, but those really good moments like really made that movie. And Will Smith, I think on the Comic-Con podcast I was saying I was really indifferent how he's gonna be.
Yeah.
And like he blew my mind on how like he did a really good job and did a lot better than like I expected. So I was really happy with that overall performance. And Margot Robbie is her name? Yeah. She. Oh my god. I can't even.
It was Harley Quinn.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Like blushing.
Yeah.
Just thinking about her, like holy.
Yeah.
She did amazing.
Yeah, I think it was like
pretty
10 out of
spicy.
10. Yeah.
But yeah, indifferent, but still be optimistic and come a little bit above.
Yeah.
That was good. Good recap. I like it. Nice quick.
So like I'm gonna talk a lot. Not right now. I'm gonna give like a little synopsis and the rest of the stuff I'll talk about after, and it's just like a mini story. With BVS, I knew going in that it was getting all these bad reviews and whatnot and everything like that. I saw the Rotten Tomatoes score, had read some reviews, and I was very down. I was like, oh man, like this is probably not gonna be that good. And I walked out. I actually still liked the movie. Truthfully, with BVS, every time I watched it, I liked it a little less, but I still liked the movie. And with this movie, I did the opposite, where I wanted to stay away from Rotten Tomatoes. I wanted to stay away from reviews, scores, anything like that. Obviously, I had a feeling, as you see, like, petition. Yeah, like, I had a feeling it wasn't going well, but I was like, I don't want to read anything to put in my head, like, because it's just like, I just want to go in clean. And that's the parallel for me, is I knew BVS had all this bad flack, and I walked out liking it, where I didn't know a single thing about this, and I walked out, for the majority of the film, hating a lot of parts. And I think it's a pretty awful movie. I think it is a fun movie. I think it has more rewatchability than BVS because it is so dark and dry, but I think BVS is a much better film because this movie is so thin. It's like, you know, in like wood shop, you get those super thin, like the thinnest of woods, and you could just break it by blowing on it. That's like some of the characters and the plot in this movie. And once again, this is a BVS thing too. The editing in these DC movies are just awful and all over, and how they incorporate flashbacks, and it's just like. Yeah. But like, this was my thing. I really thought not reading reviews and anything and not getting any opinion would make it better. But I walked out and I was just like, oh, I didn't like it, to think about more, to like, that was really bad, to like, yeah, that was awful. And I like BVS more than this, and I never ever thought, because I like BVS, but it's not a good movie. Like, it's not a.
You like Batman,
but I like with BVS, there's just more great moments for me that stick out. Where like this one, I think sticks out. And I think general audiences will like it better because there is that fun aspect.
Yeah.
And I think that goes good. But I think this one, I think that's why I'm actually seeing it tomorrow. Literally, I already bought my tickets to see it again. I want to see it. I want to like it more, and I just already had planned. I got these tickets before because a friend's coming to town. And I was just like, oh yeah, I'm for sure gonna want to see it, and I still want to because I want to just see how I feel on a second viewing. But it is, it was very, very disappointing. It is nowhere near disappointing Killing Joke wise. This movie has a lot of fun parts, a lot of good parts, a lot of great acting. It's not that for me. It's not like this is like an awful movie as far as like overall, but just like the things that are really bad are really, really, really bad. And the things that are good, it's a DC like BVS thing, where for me, the things that there's no middle ground, there's no like, oh, that's kind of alright. It's either like there's really great stuff in the movie, or there's just awful stuff. And like, we'll get into it. Would we rather do like pros and cons, or would we start with the cast? Because I feel like with the cast, we might start talking about some of their storylines in general. I don't know. Which way would you guys rather go?
Doesn't matter.
I don't know. I say we talk about the characters.
Yeah. Well, let's start with Harley Quinn. We talked about her already a bit. Yeah. I'll start because I was just like ragging on it. To me, that is the biggest positive of this movie, is that she kills it. She delivers like a 10 out of 10, like 9.5 performance. No, I'd say 10 out of 10. Anything that isn't good is like the writing, but she kills it. I love her comedic timing. There's things in the movies that I really like, that they gave her actual moments where she wasn't wooden or flat, where she wasn't just a crazy girl. Mm-hmm. The two ones I throw up is when she has the Joker flashback about the chemicals. She has that mini conversation about Deadshot and love. And then at that one point when she thinks Joker's dead, she's sad, and then right when they walk, she peps right up, and she's like, oh yeah, she like acts like nothing happened at all. Yeah. I feel like she killed it because she gave those mini layers. I wish there was a lot more, and I'll get in that later. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more they should have got in, because she did a 10 out of 10 performance, where the character I feel is like kind of like a 7, because it's a fun character, but there's a lot of things of like, we'll get into it later, but they never really explain why she's in love with the Joker. Like, they don't explain.
Well, they do.
No, they don't, because was she crazy before or after she met the Joker?
I think she after.
But you said you think. They don't explain that. In the
I'm pretty sure it's inferred, just like.
But is it? Because then he has to give her a lobotomy as well.
Travis, here's the thing, right? Like, if you compare this to like a Civil War, that like every one of those characters, or most of those characters, have like multiple movies for you to figure this stuff out, and that's fine. So you have to like take it for like what it is. All these characters are brand new. This is their first time on the scene. And I think there's a lot of times where you have to make inferences, and I actually think it worked for this movie for a few of the characters, because like you don't need to know more than they tell. A lot of the time, I feel.
I strongly disagree. Just because I feel like we've all talked about this with BVS, how there should have been movies before, and I feel like there definitely should have been movies before for Harley and Joker.
I feel like BVS, it was a lot different just because there was so much more things going on with BVS than this movie. Like, there's a lot more background going on with BVS, a lot more backstory that they weren't explaining that would make the movie make more sense. Meanwhile, with Squad, it wasn't more like that. It was kind of like, okay, like you can tell she's really in love with this girl, with the Joker. I get it, awesome. Like it's not that like.
I just want to know why, because it's not clear in the film.
But they don't hint at that though, because it's like the typical like doctor-patient kind of love story relationship.
But that should be its own movie, legitimately.
It should, but I mean
that. But that's my problem with this whole like DC thing that we've talked about before. It's not. It is like for me, like I get that they did good with what they could, but it's the same thing of because there's not another film there, it's not strong because they literally. Two biggest problems I have, like talking about Quinn and like the introduction with the Joker is the Joker doesn't even get introduced. So the thing is, I've said before, if you don't know who the Joker is ever, you've no fucking idea who he is. And the example I'm using, like if you guys seen Silence of the Lambs, how you meet Hannibal Lecter is he walks some Clarice down the hall and he's like, he's done this, don't put your hand on the bars, don't look at him, don't do this, and then it's this thing of Hannibal Lecter's in the dark, he walks up, he starts talking. Literally, the first shot and introduction you get the Joker is just him sitting there and they're just talking. There's no build-up, there's no, like... And this is a big thing with the whole movie. They don't treat the Joker like he's special at all. He just seems like he's a random, like, thug criminal. Like, he deserves a full-on... He deserves the Dark Knight, Heath Ledger walking into a room and talking to everybody. He deserves Jack Nicholson walking at the shadows, revealing his face. He doesn't get a big moment like that. And, like, that's tied with this whole Harley thing of, like, I get it. You can just... This is why, to me... Like, I can roll with it, but why it's thin is because it's just like, oh, you're just like, yeah, they're in love, and you roll with it.
Yeah.
But it's like, it could be so much better. I'm not saying it's bad, but, like, I know what it could be between comics and, like, when a 22-minute animated movie does it better than this. Like, that's my problem of, like, yeah, it's fine, but it could be so much better. Yeah. And, like, the thing is, there's no...
Chemistry?
No, the chemistry's kind of there on her part. There's no development because it's just, like... Oh, you see her, she sits down, talks to Joker, and then right away she's just, like, about to kiss him and in love. You know, and it just makes no... It's just, like, it's not even, like, a whole...
I thought they had, like, someone, like, narrating about her.
They did.
Yeah.
They did, and she's just, like, oh, she's in love with the clown.
Yeah.
But
like,
in the actual scene...
But it's just, I'm pretty sure it's, like, just covering, like, she's narrating, so it's not, like, it happened within the first, like, 5 minutes.
But that's my problem, is they refer to it as, like, hey, there's a movie you should have watched already.
You're just really bad at inferring.
What? No, it's just really lazy writing of like, oh, and the reason is because there's a bunch of scenes that they film with Harley and Joker that they've taken out of the movie. Yeah. So that's my problem too.
But here's the thing, I feel like, obviously, yeah, if you don't know who the Joker is, you're gonna come in, you're gonna have no idea who this guy is. But I think most people, you know, have seen the trailers or something, or they just know that Harley Quinn and Joker are already like a thing, so they almost don't need to go over it. And I don't think I'd want the movie to be like another 15 minutes long to explain that storyline. I don't really care because the Joker sucks. I don't really want to see more of it. You know?
That's funny because I'm not sure how you felt about Joker. I've not asked you yet.
I don't know what you're saying though, because like if a movie, like if it was definitely like more about like the Joker and Harley Quinn, like I feel like definitely they would add that. But like because this is a squad movie where like the Joker is definitely a minor character in this movie. Like all these people are side characters. Like they don't really want to go into too deep in each like individual person. Like they definitely had a lot of Harley, like not a lot.
You can tell with the editing they pick and choose like what characters.
Yeah.
But and like,
of Slipknot.
Like they're trying to go over everyone except for Slipknot.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. Like I think that's the reason why I'm okay with it because it's definitely a movie about like the squad, not just Harley Quinn and Joker. Which like I like that's my two favorite, like one of my two favorite characters, from the Batman universe. So I love that. But like
I think they had enough of that storyline to justify like. It makes sense when she leaves with him at the end of the movie. Like, that, I think, like, at that point I felt like that was realistic enough. Like, it made sense. And so I think that's enough, personally.
And I think just the one flaw for me is, like, why I have a trouble time buying it. And this is the same thing, and maybe it's a problem just like there's not another movie, but does she choose to be the Joker, or does he force her to be at the beginning of the movie? Because she's fully in love with him, but then he gives her, like, a lobotomy. But then later on we see a clip where she's perfectly back to normal and making the choice. So it's this whole thing of, like, they didn't make this clear because there's two versions of the origin. One where she chooses to be with the Joker in the animated series. In the comics, he throws her in acid like that, and then she's with him because she's crazy.
Yeah.
And it felt like they were doing, like, both, where she chose, but at the same time they tried to make it like he forced her to. But that was my problem of, like, I get it, I could have rolled with it, but that is what threw me off, is they weren't even clear on they're just like, okay, they're in love, but it's like, I just even want to know, like, did she choose to be in love, or did he force the matter? You know, and it's not really that clear, because then why does he give her, like, a lobotomy and electrocute her?
Yeah.
If she's, like, in love with him. That's my problem I didn't get. But then she has to make this big choice. Like, that was my thing.
I agree with what you're saying, how they, like, had that relationship. Like, it was okay, but, like, it definitely could have been better. Like, I 100% agree with you there.
Like, once it's in, I'm into it. But it was just the setup of, like, I can buy and roll with, like, okay, they're together. But, like, it was just a setup of, like, really jarring. Like, I feel like there's, like, a movie missing. And it's the same thing of, like, why Batman kills. Why does he kill? Oh, because he's angry. But it's, like, I feel like that's a movie there to show, like, why is he not... Why does... You know, and that's
what
my
happened,
thing.
right?
Yeah, and that, for me, was always in the back of my mind still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, like, for me personally, like... I know we're gonna go over like how
we're gonna go over
we're gonna go over how like the Joker, how like his relationship towards Harley Quinn, because that was a big thing. That was definitely, I was just like, this doesn't make sense. But like for me personally, because I know the relationship already, right? But then I don't want to go too deep in it. But,
Are you saying for the Joker?
For like the Joker side of how he's like in love with Harley Quinn, which like I don't know, like for me, like I was always just under the impression that he just like whatever, I don't care about that. Like he has bigger things going on in his head,
that's
right,
my thing is
Quinn.
they don't really explain why he's in love with her.
Yeah, no,
it's just
totally.
like they're in mad love, and it's like, but why?
Yeah.
Like, well, I guess we can say it for the Joker.
Yeah, no,
I think it's a one-way street. I think Harley Quinn's. I think it makes sense why she's in love with him, and I think all of that part made sense. But then, I was definitely confused too. Like when she gets back into the plane, whatever. I can't remember what happens in that scene exactly. But yeah, he's like really happy to see her, and he's in love with her. And I was like, what, that's kind of weird. Like,
he's like losing sleep over her not being there, right? And it's just like,
well, and I'm not sure. And Dylan, you can answer this because you've seen this more recently than us. That scene where he has all that stuff around him, was he crying in that scene? Because I swear he. What'd you say? No, I know he was laughing. No, at the beginning.
All the knives around?
At the beginning he sets up. Okay, it was just the shot because at the beginning he sets up and tosses the guy, and I swear there was like a tear down his eye, and that
tattoo.
Well, I mean, not that tear, but I'll know tomorrow. But that at first when I watched, I'm like, now the Joker's crying. Like this is not like.
That's what I think. We almost need to rewatch it just to like see what happened again.
Yeah. I guess we can reel back to Harley. I guess because we started with her. Like,
well, Kirkland. Wait, sorry, Taylor. What did you think of Harley?
I really, really liked her. Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't expect the accent part like you were saying earlier. When I heard it, I'm like, oh wow, there's the Harley Quinn that I recognize from the games.
Yeah.
I thought she was a great character. It was there's one part that kind of threw me off though. She could pull off like acting really, really tough at times, but then there are other times and moments she'd pull off being really like scared and weak, and I wasn't sure. Like when she was strapped in the chair, she was all la-di-da, but when they brought that injector to her, she seemed to really change and just cower and fear, like get that away from me, and that didn't really kind of.
Well, I think it's.
I didn't really understand that.
Crazy.
Yeah,
well, she is batshit crazy.
That's the way I kind of take it. It's just like you never know how she's gonna react, you know.
Yeah, okay. Because I wasn't sure if she was genuinely afraid. Because I was thinking she.
Well, she could be. They are putting a bomb in her though, so.
They are, but she. You think she would laugh
that would.
That,
yeah.
You think she'd just laugh it off? But.
I don't.
It's just insane.
I feel like of all the things to laugh off, that might not be.
Yeah. Or just the fact that she might not get to be with Puddin again is the thing maybe why she's not laughing, right? Because it's like this is like a full on like I love that. I love the necklace.
Yeah.
How because we haven't talked about it. How did we feel about the kind of back and forth? And we can jump into him kind of continuing with her and Deadshot.
I thought it was actually pretty good. It seemed natural. I know we're not talking about Deadshot yet, but I agree with you guys. I think Will Smith did a really good job. So I think both of them, like, because they were, I guess, the two main characters of the movie, kind of. So I think they definitely. I think it was definitely good. I thought it was pretty believable.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna go.
I was just agreeing. Are we talking about the relationship?
Yeah, we didn't talk about that because they had a big chunk together, and then they can move into Deadshot. Because I don't know what else is there to say about Harley, because it seems like we all really like her. We're going to talk about her again, obviously.
Yeah, for Harley, I will mention the one scene when he was about to give her like the lobotomy or whatever, when she like called him like Mr. J or whatever. Like it literally just sounded like exactly like what she says normally, right? So I was like, oh, that's Harley Quinn right there. Mm-hmm. So like that scene I loved.
The only thing,
or not that scene.
I guess when they were making this movie and editing and stuff, they're like, oh wow, she did pretty good. So a lot of her stuff was like directly out of the trailers, and obviously they changed her voice, but like a lot of the jokes and and little things. So
her one-liners, like we were talking.
That was kind of an unfortunate part, but I guess if you have only a few good characters, you kind of got to pick the good stuff for the trailers or something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I was glad that there wasn't that. Wasn't there rumors that saying that Harley Quinn and Deadshot were gonna have like a thing?
Well, they almost sort of kind of did.
In the animated
like
movie,
like
they sleep together, so people could have just had that idea, which I'm really glad didn't happen.
I'm really glad that didn't happen, because that's what I thought was going to I was hoping it wouldn't happen, but a possibility.
Yeah.
So I feel like it was more like, not really a thing, like a, wanting like a relationship, but more of like a friendship, like very cohesive, and I thought that was really cool. And
some brother and sister relationship with a sexual edge for some reason.
I'll throw it in there, man.
I got the impression that like if Joker is not around, she'd definitely be sleeping with him, but because Joker's around, she's not, and that's what I like. Is that?
Well, I think she seemed like she was going to until Joker showed up again alive.
You think so?
That's what I was feeling.
Really? But even when Joker is there, he's selling her off to other guys like in that club scene.
Yeah, oh yeah, we'll definitely talk about that scene.
That was a phenomenal scene. One of my favorites.
I don't know, I thought they had a really good relationship between each other, so I quite enjoyed it.
Good friend.
Again, like they're like kind of the two head people on that whole movie.
Yeah, no, piggyback. I already said like my main thing. I was just hoping they didn't kiss, sleep together. Like I like even if they maybe do something in the future. Like if they do like the actual Joker Harley relationship, kind of like Joker doesn't like Harley, and maybe she goes off on her own for a bit. I'd be fine with it in the future, but in this movie, it would
didn't happen in this movie.
What?
I felt like that happened in this movie.
That Joker
didn't like her for like the longest time, and then was like, "Oh yeah, I like you a lot." By the way,
but I don't think so because in the flashbacks for me, you don't get to. What? No, no. Before you don't get to see.
We're here to have fun, Taylor. Hoping a nerd.
You don't get to really see in the flashbacks if he likes her or not. He's just talking to her. So that's
what I mean.
But that's what I mean. I don't know. Like it's just.
He's intrigued by her.
Is he though? He's just. I mean, a machine guy.
He's intrigued by her for sure. You definitely think she's an interesting individual.
I guess, but
he keeps her around,
right?
True.
Saves her.
But yeah, I was glad. I don't think it
throws her out of a helicopter where she most certainly died.
She fell.
She totally.
He didn't throw her.
I saw.
He fell.
No, because then
I thought she was dead there, and I was like, well, that was kind of lame.
Because then he's like, no. Anyways, with that, I was happy they didn't sleep together, and it was like if they do that in the future, maybe we find that in this movie, I would have felt that didn't really fit or work, especially Deadshot's kind of arc going on, and we can move on to him. Yeah, I'll piggyback the same. I really like Will Smith. He did a good job. Written-wise, he's one of the best characters written as far as an actual arc. That scene when Batman gets him and his daughter's there is perfect. Like, it's fucking phenomenal. And he's like, I don't want to do this in front of your daughter. And it was just like, and he has to give up, and it's just, his arc is so good. And then even his, like...
Great actor.
Oh, Ben Affleck for the part.
Benjamin.
What I was going to say, like, they did a little too much, but like even the stuff with him and Rick Flag, the back and forth was good when he's just like, oh, you're gonna cut and run, blah blah, and he's like approving him. I thought near the halfway point they should have stopped because Deadshot had done enough stuff to prove that he's not going anywhere, but he's still like, oh, you fucking coward. But it was like, okay, like it was a little too like macho, but the whole arc overall for Deadshot of having his daughter, like trying to support his daughter and live for his daughter and change his life for his daughter, and it go horribly awry, and then him end up in prison to have to do this all over again. And you felt like he was fine with killing, but he did want to stop it just for his daughter. And there felt like a real arc. He felt like there was a difference at the end of the movie that if anybody, which we'll get into, as the squad members felt like they did a jump to being a kind of villainy person to like a semi-hero to anti-hero, it was Deadshot, and it was done well. So that's why and he did a good job, because the trailers to me, I was really worried that Will Smith, and he does have the Will Smithism sometimes in here, but it's not fully in a bad way.
Before the movie that he was like a big part of it, and it kind of surprised me just based off like the trailers, because even like I think after a couple trailers I forgot that he was actually part of it too, right? And so I was really pleasantly surprised, I guess. I'm pretty happy with. I think there's a few lines of his. I don't know if he didn't deliver them that well, or like I think it was mostly just some bad writing.
Yeah,
there was a few lines that were like
everyone had a few of those lines.
Everyone
yeah, especially Rick Flag got a lot of those fucking lines.
When it got to that
halfway
mark, it was like, oh no.
Like any line from like cheesy army movie, Rick Flag had, and it was. I feel bad because I like.
He was like badass at the beginning, and then it just. We'll talk about that later.
What were you saying? Oh yeah, and I thought seeing the trailers, Will Smith is somebody we were not going to be talking about. Like we talk about at the end, like he was all right, but I thought he did a good job. So
he was definitely positive to the movie for me. I didn't really know the Deadshot character like going into it, and Like, I really, really like the acting, as I said, by Will Smith. I love that actor.
The character's
I always have a
cool.
soft spot for that guy. And, like, the Deadshot character himself.
When he puts on that white mask, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I know. I was hoping he was going to wear that. Because when you see them...
He didn't
like,
wear it enough.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it made no sense why he's like, I have this mask, but I wear it, like, one more
I know,
scene in the
when
movie.
he put it on, it was just like, it kind of seems, like, weird why he'd put it on. Right?
Oh, why
It
isn't it on the
just
whole
makes-
time?
Yeah.
It's a morale booster.
But, yeah, exactly.
He clearly knows the tricks. Remember when someone was giving them like a speech and he was like,
Oh, the triangle bitch?
Gold standard,
Yeah.
bitch.
So clearly he knows how to boost morale. And so one way to boost his own morale is to
Did he?
put on
Because
a
he
white
did threaten to
mask.
hit Harley Quinn at one point. He's like, I don't care if you're a woman.
I'm just messing
Which
around.
made no sense because it's like, she's been kicking ass this whole time. Like,
The two scenes for me that I really liked Deadshot was when they were trying to get him to shoot, and he was just kind of like being a bit of an asshole. And
When he was killing that guy.
he fired
right?
off the gun, and he was
Yeah.
like, oh, and then he just goes
Oh.
to town, and I was
Then
just
Kanye
thinking,
ramps
that's
up.
so
Kanye
cool.
ramps
Yeah,
up.
Kanye
Oh,
ramps
I
up.
I was for it. Come
oh,
on.
I love. That's one of my favorite Kanye
Oh,
songs
yeah.
ever. But it was like that. Yeah, it was getting to the point where it's like another song. Okay.
Yeah, no, that was the music thing. It was just like there's so many like well-known songs, but it's just it was constantly
The
rolling
movie
out.
starts up with House of the Rising Sun. Classic.
Mhm.
Yeah, why not, right?
Well, okay. Before, because we covered the two main ones, we're gonna get back to it. Just because we're talking about now, what did everyone feel about the music and like that? Because like we've talked about it enough, so let's like. I mean, we've hinted about it, so let's talk about it. Like, for me, it started, like I said, House of the Rising Sun, right away. Like, I'm locked in. And then it was like, what did they do? They did a Rolling Stone. They did like,
Did so many things.
well, and that's my problem, which I'll get into. I can't remember, but they did at the beginning. It was super jarring already because they did 3 songs back to back right away, like click, click, click.
Mm-hmm.
Which shout out for Harley Quinn. I forgot to. I love the scene where she's in the
Yeah.
jail and she licks the bar cell and she's like so seducing, so sultrous, and it was like perfect Harley Quinn. And like
that
people
song,
that
it's
like
a good song.
yeah, and like to me, people are, if they complain that Harley Quinn's too sexualized, like.
That's what
She's
she
a
is,
sexualized
yeah.
character, so like it to me it kind of flies. I don't think they did it too much, but anyways, so they do like the 3 things in the music, and then like every character had their own song, and then like the same thing like when Deadshot's shooting, they had their own song,
Mhm.
and when they brought them all, like everything had its own
Everyone
song.
had like their theme. Well,
Eh.
not everyone, but
Not
That's
Slipknot,
not bad.
but like for
I was
me,
expecting
what,
some
what do you guys
Slipknot,
Slipknot's
yeah.
theme?
I would say
that's
some
Slipknot
Slipknot,
song.
yeah.
Has to be, but we'll never know.
A Slipknot song is probably called Slipknot because they have a song.
Yeah.
And the
Or something to do with
maybe
pain.
it's in the prequels.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited for the Slipknot prequel. But for me, like I kind of
Standalone
liked
movie.
it at the beginning, but then it was just
They-
too
actually,
much.
no,
Like literally,
quickly about
Seven
Slipknot,
Nation
They
Army.
could have put a Slipknot song on, like the start of when they introduced the character, and it wouldn't have been done by the time he was out of the movie already.
Oh no, exactly. But like the thing is, they play Seven
They
Nation
could've just
Army
put
at
it
one
really
point
quiet
for
in the
like
background.
20 seconds, and it was just like, and that has something to do with the way it was edited, which we'll talk about after the review with some of the controversy. But like, I felt like they were just trying to make scenes really cool with the music, and this is the
yeah,
thing
100%.
with Guardians. The music flows so well and so good. And you think a song in Guardians, and you think of a moment. This one,
I can't even remember. Yeah.
they just vomited songs all over.
Vomit.
Like that part when Harley Quinn goes in the elevator, of course, right then it just play. Like a song starts, then it's like, and then it's over when the elevator rides over, and it's just like every time there was a scene, and there's some scenes that I almost thought would have been better without music. And it was just like, it wasn't even music to me that sometimes fit. It was just like
Yeah.
A
huge
well-known
hit. And I'm
song,
how did you feel doing? Because you didn't really like that even with the trailers. Like you didn't like that. There.
I think it's a cop out to like just put those
Yeah,
really popular
me too.
songs in your trailer. I'd just like to see some more originality than that, I guess. But I mean, at the end of the day, House of the Rising Sun is so popular because it's a good song. So I'm not like too mad when it's in the movie, right?
Well, yeah, they're all good songs.
They're
Like
all good
it's just
songs.
like
The Bohemian
Did they-
Rhapsody in the trailer was really good. I thought it
Yeah.
worked well.
It just- none of them
that's-
fit
like they're all
really.
good songs. I want to see something else in the trailer. Like,
yeah.
but I guess that is like advertising kind of what the movie was. You know, like they put those popular songs in there just to make it like appeal to more people. I guess I don't know. That seemed like the whole movie was just like it was much more #fun than BVS.
It's definitely
right?
a
So
long
they're going
music
for
It
it.
was,
video.
it was definitely a fun one, but like when I was going to the movie, my dad was like, "Oh, tell me about the soundtrack," because he's like big into music like that. So I was like, "Yeah, there's a lot of good hits in there."
You'll
So,
hear
no,
them
yeah,
all.
my
You
dad-
might
dad's like,
recognize
"Oh."
one or two.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
my dad's pumped too, you know.
Taylor,
So a lot
what,
of people are drawn to that.
what did you think about the soundtrack?
When it comes to movies with scenes and music, I'm huge on that. I think the music I like scores in movies, and I love these old songs thrown in there. So whenever like there was a scene that popped up, like I
I
was
don't know
just
if a lot
like,
of these were
whoa,
old songs,
cool.
but-
Well, not all of them.
Some
Some of them for sure. There were a couple like the Seven Nation Army. I wasn't expecting that to pop up, but that part there, I would have been okay without that, to be honest. But I mean, I don't mind it. I love the songs thrown in there at certain points. I thought it was like, cool, yeah.
Fun.
Yeah,
fun.
but like, I'll just add on to like what we were saying earlier, how like it's just too much music. Because like if you think back to like X-Men Apocalypse, like that scene when Quicksilver like goes in and it's what song is
Sweet
it?
Dreams.
By the Arithmetics. And it's just like I remember that scene tied to that song, right?
Yeah.
And this one, I can't remember half the songs. Like they're all well known. Like
and I can't remember
all
where
the
they
songs.
are in the movie, other than those
That's
first
the thing.
ones.
Like I knew all the songs, but it's just like I can't think back to what scene was tied to what song, right?
Well,
And see, and that's why when you said call out for the trailer, like for me, it's a cop out for like to make it more fun. Because for me, it was like it wasn't fun. It's just like you're trying, and I'm sure it worked for a lot of people. But like for me, it was just like, oh, you don't really have anything that good to show here, so you're just gonna play a good song. All right, where like you look at Guardians, that's so famous for it. Like they mesh it so well.
I don't know. To me, like a lot of the movie, a lot of the scenes, like fighting scenes in particular, felt like kind of like highlight reels or something. Like there was a scene with Deadshot popping off in the streets, and it was just like this just feels like a.
Was the one he was on top of the car, or is like intro? See, that one I actually liked. The rest action scenes, I was like,
no, like it was good, but it just felt like a highlight reel. Like I feel like that was like a Call of Duty montage video or something.
like a music video.
And so like that's why those songs, even though I think I said it was a cop out. Like I mean it is, but it still worked, I guess, because that's like just the flow of the movie. It was
and see, for me, it didn't because anytime I took a song, it like clicked in of like. Okay, it didn't fit. Like, that was the thing, like, when Seven Nation Army pops up for, like, 15 seconds, and you're like, you just spent all this money for this because it's just, like, it was just,
don't
that took me out of it
was,
every time.
Don't get me wrong, there was some songs that I didn't like, and they were played at some odd times, but, But, I mean, overall, obviously does not compare to, like, Guardians soundtrack, for example, but in terms of, like, playing those kind of. Well, Guardians isn't even like super popular songs.
And that's what I like too. Where this was just like we got thrown every like AC/DC and someone's gonna love one of these songs. And it's like,
I think if they changed it in the sense like with Guardians, it was whenever that cassette player would come out, it wasn't just playing over in the background.
Oh yeah,
like it was Suicide Squad. If it was like Harley Quinn gets in the elevator and it was the elevator music playing, and then they kind of faded in,
or she's playing on her phone
or phone. Yeah, then that would fit in much better.
A lot of it seemed like kind of was reminiscent of like Quicksilver putting on his thing and then the song starts. It felt like it almost felt like it would make more sense if they all had their own headphones. Well, sponsored by Beats by Dre. Just put on the headphones and go for a run.
Just write a check to Beats by Dre, not all these other things.
I was gonna bring up the
they had Samsung.
lots of Samsung phones.
That's hilarious.
Fucking Captain, because I will never remember this. Captain Boomerang's when he throws a boomerang and has a camera and he's just like watching it.
It's like, where'd that come from?
And I love that.
I'm stoked on that because I just got a Samsung like 3 weeks ago, so I'm like, oh, let's go.
But then like Incubus destroys the boomerang and he's like, fuck, and he like throws the phone down. And it's like, what? Like, don't you have any more?
Okay, well, Captain Boomerang was like a drunken pirate.
Oh yeah. What I was gonna say is, because I will forget, it was in like some of the controversial stuff that's come out later with some reports we'll talk about, was the person. David Ayer originally edited this movie, and then the studio took it from him, and then the people that edit were the same people that edited the trailers. Yeah, so
not surprising.
To me, it made a lot of sense because it's exactly like that's why to me it feels like a music video in a way. Like the movie, so many parts. There's just like 20 minutes of just hits playing, and it's like I'd like to hear the characters just talk like. To each other. Like the scene with Deadshot shooting, I was happy to hear Kanye, but like, I almost would like that scene if it was just dead silent. Yeah, I think I was that. I would like if it was just dead silent, and he's shooting, and everyone's just watching him, and it's dead quiet, and all you hear is the gunshots, but it was just like, the Kanye thing was like, okay, like...
Well, they kind of did that when they were in the city, right? Was there music playing in the background when he was shooting all the... like warped units?
That's what I can't remember. When he's on the car, I think on the car was a score when he was shooting the poo monsters.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
the monsters. That's what I call them.
They look like,
who should we talk? Amanda Waller. I guess we talk about her next. I think she did a fucking phenomenal job.
Who's this?
Great. Amanda Waller. She's like the main. She put together the team. She's the black lady.
That's all you
Whoa.
Nice little throw.
I can say that.
The GeekVerse is a lot blacker now.
Yeah, she was. I was getting some bitch vibes from her, so that was good acting.
Oh, she killed it.
Oh, I think she was phenomenal. She's one of the best parts of the movie. We can talk about some character decisions later that were her character started to falter near the end, but she as an actress,
I think for the most
part,
most part, she did a really good job. And then there was like some decisions or things she was saying, I guess, that it didn't seem consistent almost.
No.
Yeah, that was kind of more toward the end. So I mean,
we'll do our plan. We'll talk about the decisions with her because
I agree with you. Like, all of her acting and everything, like, it was very, very authentic, and I think she did an awesome job. The one thing that I was just really confused about was at the end when she just popped up out of nowhere.
Well, then, Taylor, you talk...
She's just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, you talk about how you felt about her, like, acting character-wise, and then we'll get into that. Because there's a couple ones I want to bring up about her, too, that were like, what?
Just, like, head scratchers.
Yeah.
No, I liked her. She definitely dominated that role. Like, you just... Like, at the beginning, you're, like, interested, like, what she's trying to do. You're interested in what she's trying to do, but then you also get that feeling like she's got her own agenda kind of going on here at the same time, and then as the movie progresses, she just becomes more of a bitch, and you're just thinking, like,
and you bought it too, and I was intimidated by it too. Oh yeah, like when she shoulders Killer Croc, oh my god, that was so badass. She just like no fucks given, like whatever. She just shouldered a crocodile.
I like leaned back in my seat thinking, oh fuck, like.
That crocodile's gonna bite her, man.
Or even like when she first meets Harley Quinn, it's like she's like, "Are you the devil?" She's like, "Yeah."
No, she's like maybe.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Devil
like still,
69.
Devil 69.
120. And she has so many good one-liners in the movie.
Even like that, it's like, it's not like, oh, maybe.
I'll deal with the consequences.
Like,
and she's like, I am the
usually like those like government roles are really boring, but yeah,
really lame too.
She was good,
kind of a side thing, but when Rick Flag was that the guy?
Yeah.
When he pulls up the things like. This is God or whatever. That was
this is the voice of God, and then she's like, "Hello."
Just like so like straight face. I just love that scene.
Taylor, you were gonna say something?
I was gonna say that. Like, as soon as she pops up, it's very intimidating but funny at the same time.
Yeah, and like you like the way I don't know what fighting ability or whatnot she has in this, but it's like. You could see her like kicking Nick Fury's ass like any day, you know, like she just sets up that vibe.
She's an Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah, she's like sets up that vibe. Even if she doesn't know how to fight, she's gonna win.
She would have like had a nanite in his neck somehow.
Oh yeah, and I love that they did at the beginning. That's a montage that I did like of her talking about setting everyone up. I like that she did something as simple of like taking Colonel Flag, who's like this lonely guy, and putting with this like broken girl, and he's like, well, hopefully they'll fall in love, and if so, I got them both dead to rights, and they're fucked. And I like that she set that up, and that's all the stuff I like to do at the movie that she was setting up. Near the end, it's a little weird, but like I love that like it's not even like, oh yeah, we got to get all these things. It's like just a little thing of like I'm gonna try and make those people fall in love, and because if they do, I got them, and I love that. It was just like little nice touches.
The one thing I will say is you're saying she could probably take Nick Fury. She looks tough. When she was, in that Detroit helicopter and she had a gun, she looked pretty useless with it, I will say.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
She didn't know how to reload it. But she took one of those poo monsters down.
The poo monsters. Hashtag poo monsters. So I guess we can talk about that. You brought it up. At the end of the movie, one point, Enchantress kidnaps Waller. They bring her to the base. All these orbs and all these tentacles and shit wrap around her. And then the end of the movie...
Don't even know where she is.
Yeah, gone for half an hour. Then the end of the movie, they beat the bad guy. Spoilers. They beat the bad guy, everything. And then she just walks out with the phone. And she's just fine. And they're just like, where were you? And she was just like... I think she was like, I may do. Or I was like, just some line. And it was like... What? And that's
conspiracy. She was controlling Enchantress the whole time.
No.
She got herself fucked up and caught just to test the Suicide Squad to see if they could be reliable for a more difficult mission.
But if she said that, it would have been great. But she didn't. So it was just like that was one of the many eye-rolling moments to me where like there's many moments, folks, in this movie that I actually laughed because they're just so like bad cheesy moments. That was one of them. They're like, you're not gonna explain this. She's just like fine. She just walks out and nothing's explained. But we saw her pretty much die, but no, she's good. And it was so... It felt like there was a scene or something.
I didn't get the feeling that she was being killed because they were using her mind to get like all the government secrets and stuff. So they weren't going to kill her.
But why not?
Because they needed
not yet. They weren't going to yet.
Honestly, though, I was under the impression that they killed her.
Me too, or like something I got.
Or she's like disabled. Like she can't just walk out of nowhere.
I think,
but to me, they still should have showed her
nowhere was dumb.
Yeah, they should have showed her locked up or something, or like wrapped in tentacles. She just like gone. She just was gone. And she just walked up like, "Hey, I went and got a coffee and I'm back. Good job, guys." Like to me, that was really. And then they don't explain how she, because like these tentacles are around her. I'd still feel like she's in danger.
Okay, I saw it more recently than you. I'm pretty sure she just had something holding her leg and then like something in her nose. Like she wasn't completely straddled.
But like
you got the feeling she was covered in some magic.
But the frame ended. The frame ended with them all surrounding her, though. So to me, it implied that they were all going to go around her body.
No,
I didn't get that at all.
No, man. I
it's
think
not
they're just using her mind.
I don't remember the scene too well, but like in my eyes, I pictured the way you described it.
I just thought it was super lame that there's just no explanation why she just walk up and fine. And like to me, like I felt like they had almost just like, don't you think they already would have destroyed all this thing around the world? Because apparently she can fucking get a document in 2 seconds. Like Enchantress. That was the thing of me, like, I feel like they didn't need her. So that's why I was like, oh, she's dead or hurt. But she's not even hurt when she walks out. She's out of breath.
Her clothes are all clean, you know? Like, she's wearing all white. Not
a
stain.
It was just
she had her phone the whole time.
The phone's fine, too. Yeah, the phone's completely fine.
She just had
it's
her
a
back
Samsung
pocket.
phone. They're indestructible.
It's the new case.
Yeah.
So there's that scene I had a big problem with, and the other scene was when she shoots all the FBI people.
Oh, I thought that was awesome.
That was confusing.
That was very confusing.
I don't think it was awesome at all because...
It made me more scared of her.
It did, but it was for like a lame... I would have bought it if she's like, oh, they couldn't known, but like...
What did she say again?
She kills the people because Rick Flag comes in this room and he says what's going on. And she kills people because she's like, oh, you killed them because they just learned all this classified information. But literally she kills them, she walks away, and there's probably 2 to 4 jokes in that second. They don't even let it hang that this woman, who's supposed to be, up until this point, she's just trying to put together a team.
She seems like a good person.
Yeah, she kills innocent people. But no one gives 2 fucks. Will Smith's like, she's a bad lady, and then Ric Flair's like, oh yeah, like, and it was just like, they tried to play that off for laughs, and that's to me where this movie's so thin, that she kills a bunch of innocent people, and they play it for laughs, where that moment could have been, she should have killed that people, that should have been 10 to 15 seconds of silence of them just staring at her, and her just be like, what the fuck is your problem?
Well, I mean,
come with me, or I'm gonna do the same to you, let's go, but it was
I don't think any of the Suicide Squad members would have cared too much, because
I think
they're just there
Deadshot
for the
would, because
job.
that's his arc. Now he's not into killing innocent people, but then he's just like, I'm gonna make a joke about her being a badass. Like that's what she was just. He didn't kill Harley 10 minutes ago, and then he's like, oh fuck these FBI innocent people.
So he doesn't like the popo. Fuck the police.
I didn't buy that because at one point he said he didn't kill innocent people either. He killed like. He just said he wouldn't kill.
He said he didn't kill women and children.
But then all he would say is like he killed like criminals, and they're like, oh, he's not that the bad guy. They start hinting at it. Like I didn't get the sense of like he was going on killing innocent people. Like, that was the thing, like, the whole moment to me was
I just feel like
flubbed.
That wouldn't have affected him that much. Like, I don't think that would, like, make him mentally distraught after
just
what
like,
he's been through.
Not mentally distraught, but not enough to make a joke. To make a joke, though. And even Rick Flag, who's supposed to be this stand-up, normal army guy. Same thing,
Okay,
make a joke.
We'll talk about Nick Flag.
Rick Flag.
Nick Flag.
But for me, that moment,
I agree with you.
They just, and they didn't let it hang. They didn't even if they made a joke 15 seconds later to break the tension, she just does it, and they literally just make a joke and they walk off.
Like, for me, I like her, like, shooting all the guys and just saying, like, they can't know this information.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Yeah, that's good.
That's
but
good. And then the whole, like, making a joke afterwards and just, as you're saying, like, not letting it hang, like,
this should be a serious moment. She just killed, up to this point, at this point, this, like, good character just killed 4 innocent guys. And that, for me, I didn't buy it. It, like, felt really flat. Like, and, like, this is the part of the movie where everything was falling flat. The third act falls apart so quickly.
I think it would have been good, like, as you said, they left that in silence, and she just, like, says, like, oh, what are you guys looking at? She walks past Killer Croc, and he says, I like her, or whatever. I think that would have been fine. To be honest,
I'd agree with that. I didn't need the back and forth between Deadshot and Flag.
Now you put it in that point, that perspective. I agree.
There's one more thing about her. I think we'll come later, but it was like another decision or choice where it was like where it's like
you're talking about the cameo with Bruce Wayne.
Well, yeah, that's a good. I had it in my notes at the end, but that didn't make sense from a Bruce Wayne. But I can't bring it up because that's a comic thing. Because like in the comics he hates her, but like now,
why is Batman not do anything? Like when the city gets destroyed.
Thank you. Because I brought that up last night. No one agreed with me. They're like, "Oh, he went to." I'm like, "That's bullshit."
Are they in Gotham?
They're in.
They're in Midtown.
Yeah, Midtown.
Midwest.
It's close to It's close to like Star City. It's like it's not that far. If in Justice League, Batman's going around recruiting people.
Oh, okay.
Like let's talk about that. And let's talk about Batman in general because then we're getting down to like the nittier grittier squad members.
Yeah.
Like we'll talk about that first.
I guess it wasn't Gotham, but like
I don't care.
I feel like he would have known.
Yeah,
he was just across the bay.
That was his night off.
My problem, across bay. My problem is
cross the bay. Hashtag cross the bay.
Like the main problem is I think with the movie in the end was like I didn't like that the end conflict was another like world ending thing that like I would have liked to have been something smaller for the squad to do, but it was like the X-Men thing of Apocalypse, where it's just like, oh, another guy who's going to want to destroy the world. And it's like, especially with Deadpool this year doing it so well, it was so good just to see something simple. And the squad who's this minor task force, I felt like that was the thing. So it's like, it's this big event going on, and I could buy Batman not being there right away, but it seemed like this portal was open for hours.
For a long time.
And Batman just doesn't give
months.
two fucks, even though, and whatever you can say it's across the bay, but even though he shows up to Metropolis and BVS to stop it, and we have proof of superheroes traveling the country.
Nightwing too, man.
Oh yeah, he goes Batwing, and like Superman and BVS goes to Africa. So it's like we've shown that they're willing to leave their city to stop crime and everything like that. So I was like, you don't. I did not buy it for a second that Batman was just like, well, that's not Gotham, and it's
especially since like he's the one who takes out at least a couple of the guys, right? So like you would think maybe he'd be keeping some tabs on them, maybe his good friend.
And he has a meeting with her at the end.
With their tabs.
Robert Downey Jr.
And he has a meeting with her at the end, so he's clearly been watching this thing go on, but it's just like, fuck, like mid.
There's a buff out.
Oh, he's like that. I can't do with that magic shit.
Once it enters
or like
Gotham,
he knows
though,
that they're gonna
snap
win.
and
Yeah.
He doesn't, because at the end, remember, he's like, I want this shut down, like this team didn't work. So he knew it wasn't going to work, and that's why he's like, I'm going to do it now. And that mid-credit scene is so fucking pointless.
There was just
Did
no
you
bad
see it,
signal.
Dylan?
I think
Yeah.
that's all it
Okay.
took.
I had a good feeling that they were going to show a little sneak peek of something. I was hoping for something a little better.
Oh yeah, we'll get in that second. Taylor, Kirkland, Kyle, how did you feel about Batman not showing up at all? Like,
I could buy it.
honestly, when I was watching
I
it,
don't know. I didn't really want him to because it wasn't his movie, but like, where was he? You know.
I know,
I
like,
wanted an explanation.
that's why I wanted them to be up against a smaller conflict, not like a god, like something
That was
smaller
pretty
where the
good,
world's
yeah.
not going to end, like something where it's like Batman. Oh, I don't need to deal with this. This is something small they can do, but this, like, there's a fucking portal. It's been open for hours.
yeah, it was a long time.
Avengers.
I think it goes back to like how some of them are metahumans and some of them aren't.
What do you mean that goes back to it?
Well, not really back to. I guess I just
That means
sidetrack.
that's
I
nothing.
feel like that's the first time we brought it up.
Yeah.
There's only 2 meta-humans on the whole team, but they're like, this team could stop Superman. It's like, bullshit, they could. Harley Quinn gonna stop Superman with what, her mallet? Like, Kirkland, you were gonna say about Batman not showing up?
Honestly, when I was watching it, it didn't even enter my head that like Batman should show up. Like when I was watching it, I'm like I don't know. I just didn't like question where this was based, like what was going on, like who was in this universe, right? So I was just like going along with it. So, but like in hindsight, it totally makes sense. It's just like where is he, right? And like
He has
I
a
know.
he has a bat wing.
yeah, no, he has like a lot of
Maybe
ways to get
there's
there.
super sleuths who can watch the movie and you'll see him like creeping around corners and stuff.
Especially though, like on the flashbacks when they go to all the characters, like I feel like Batman's in a lot of these. Like he's stopping these characters.
Yeah, and
And,
that's
like,
saying if he didn't pop up at all,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have entered my mind. But it's
Yeah.
like he pops up all the time.
Yeah,
well,
no.
he pops up 3 separate times in this movie.
Oh,
and it's
and,
like,
Flash is in there. Flash could show up 6 in 1, right?
oh yeah,
Or
the
a
Flash.
cyborg guy, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think he's still in his like slap thing. Probably in Justice League.
He's
Dad,
only
let me
an
out.
arm. He's only an arm right now. He's
Yeah.
not a full guy.
Taylor, did that strike you as odd? No Batman.
As I was gonna say, just no bat signal. He's just gonna be like,
yeah,
that's what he was waiting for the whole
You know,
time.
he does have some gray hair going on. He's getting old. He's like, you know what? Unless there's a bad signal, I'm not doing shit.
No, I was just picturing, like, I did think, like, why doesn't Batman actually show up? I did think about that through the whole movie. But I just told myself, you know, I bet he's out being pushed up against the wall by Aquaman right now. That's probably what
What'd
he
you
is.
say?
He's being pushed up against the wall by Aquaman and that.
it's yeah. I
In
forgot
the
about the
Justice
trailer
League
for a
scene.
second. I'm like, so what's happening?
I like
I
Zack
want to see
Snyder.
this movie.
Yeah, I'll show you my fish.
I also like because when I was watching it, obviously they mentioned a couple times that they're in what is it called,
Midtown or something like
Midtown.
that.
So Midtown, that could easily be a district of Gotham. Like I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Mid part of Gotham
I
City.
think for like a general viewer, they would just view that Midtown is not near Gotham.
Even though the Joker's there,
Yeah. It's like
he lives in Gotham.
Joker
but
shows up
maybe
with
the
Batman.
Joker-
yeah, Joker can
Yeah.
show up and all he has is a fucking helicopter.
They
He's
mentioned
looking
that
for
there's
Harley
something. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't actually in Midtown, but there was some place that was like Wayne Enterprises, and so like I just thought it
No,
was all
it's where
connected.
they got because the
They
Joker
couldn't-
goes there. No,
Yeah,
he goes.
it's
I don't know
the
if it's.
tracker thing.
I don't know if
isn't
it's goes there. Yeah, which I don't understand why Bruce Wayne's company is making bombs to go in people's head. Well,
He
in
makes a
this
lot of
world,
things, come on.
I guess in this, but still, like I guess in this world, he's like, yeah, this is gonna be great.
Fuck 'em up.
Yeah, I'm gonna blow their heads off.
I am world peace.
Yeah. And then the mid credit scene I thought was super lame because it's like you have the email already. You don't need these files.
He needs paper. He needs a paper copy.
He knew the fans were not happy with the emails, so he's like, okay, I'll get some paper back up in here.
But like, it's just as lame too to be like, instead of it's like a booklet, and then Enchantress is in there now, and it's just like all these people. Enchantress should have been in the emails too. Like, it was super lame, and it was like, this would be cool if we didn't know a Justice League movie was coming. But guess what? We already have a fucking trailer for it, and it was just super lame. And like for me as like a fanboy, like in the comics, he hates Waller because he hates the idea of Suicide Squad. But here, they're just chummy, and she's like, "You can protect me, right?" And it's like, and I didn't like that either. She's this super strong female like lead, and then at the end, she's like, "I need protection." He
should have just shot her.
See,
just in the dive.
I know you said like he doesn't like her and like
no, he hates her.
He hates her, but
despises.
I just the thing that sets me off is the fact that she killed innocent people and he's still willing to help her. I guess he doesn't really know that,
no,
but I mean,
I think he might be cool.
He doesn't know a whole lot. There's a lot of things
he doesn't, but he can keep a secret, so that's good.
He can.
I guess before we move on, did we obviously I'm guessing we all like the Batman stuff that was in the movie? Like, I thought all this stuff before was great. I thought the moment where he punched Harley was phenomenal, and not in like a sexist pig way, just in a way if she's just like biting, she was a knife, and he's just like boom, and it was like
he knocked her out like in one punch.
And that I like that. I love him on the car hood, like that flashback stuff was good.
There was actually that's another funny part when they were assembling the team, and like every one of their entrances just involved them punching some random person.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was pretty funny.
I think they make Slipknot randomly punch that woman, and he's like, she had a big mouth.
That was just like, what happened?
I thought it was really funny. I was like, this guy's dead in 5 minutes.
We'll get to him in a second, but I love that they brought Boomerang in a bag. I know we saw him in the trailer, but I just love that he's like, oh.
I forgot there was in the trailer.
And then the other part that I like was like a double moment when he's giving mouth to mouth to Harley, and she like starts to kiss him.
Yeah.
So good, and he's just like,
doing Batman things.
Doing Batman things. Who
Batman.
Who on the cast wants who next? Who do you want to hit next?
Let's talk about Nick.
Rick. What is his name?
Rick.
It's Rick Flag.
Oh,
yeah. So Rick Flag, because you did not. That sounds like you did not like.
Oh, I thought he was awful. Okay. Here's my theory.
Writing or
I have
acting?
a theory for this guy. What?
Writing or acting?
Everything.
Oh wow.
About this guy.
Wow.
Here's why. I feel like this movie was like 86 to like 90% done. Like most of the filming was done. Most of the editing was done. And they're like, shit, we need another character. So they went out and hired some dude. This guy, I don't know his actor's
Joel
name.
Kidman. He's a fantastic actor.
Joel Kidman. And they hire this guy, and they're like, okay, we need you to grow a mustache and a beard. So they give him like 2 days to do that. It's pretty scraggly, pretty rancid. All they did was give him 2 days, and they put him in this movie in scenes. Every scene, I felt like he was added in after the movie was already done. I thought he was an awful character. 0 out of 10. Terrible.
Wow.
Yeah.
He definitely wasn't my least favorite character.
Oh yeah, we're getting to him soon. You really mean that, don't you? I like him.
Really?
I like him for most of the movie until then he gets really cheesy lines. Yeah, the half mark.
Did the file say that I was sleeping with her?
Yeah, and it was like, oh my god, this is the only way we can
it's
get
just like he became so weak at that point. I found like he was totally like tough, badass, like soldier guy, and then it got to that point where he's just like crying. He's
and
like weak. He's like
soldier.
But don't you think that's because like his team was all broken apart? His soldiers walked out on him even, and he just wanted his love of his life back, and that's what really just broke him. To be honest, everyone quit on him. So I mean. He ended up fessing out.
Well, the thing was for me that I didn't buy, and we'll get into her later, but like I didn't think they had any chemistry together when she was June Moon and he was Rick Flag. No chemistry, so I didn't buy this
awkward,
internal love story. Yeah. I liked him. I thought I liked him a lot more until like I feel like the writing gave him a lot of cheesy lines that like nobody could pull off. So I actually liked him, but he was not the greatest character. Like I still like him. I'd be happy. Unlike Dylan, I'd be happy to see him in the next Squad movie. You know, I'm a big Joel Kinnaman fan, so I liked it. I liked the character for the most part. Near the end, kind of faltered, but
I feel like the entire movie near the end kind of faltered.
Yeah, no, like that's what I was saying.
Like after 5 minutes, it got
to that point, and it just totally got flipped, and like so many things that I liked just totally became.
Yeah. What did you feel about Rick Flag?
I didn't mind him. I thought he was alright. I wouldn't say he's my favorite or my least favorite, but yeah, he was your typical army dude. And I felt
he was just so boring. Like, you just would have been better if he was not there.
Well, someone needed to lead this.
And honestly,
I feel like they needed to
in most of his scenes, he actually feels like he wasn't actually there.
I could say that about some other characters, but
Taylor. Oh yeah.
Oh, God.
Taylor, what did you feel about? I feel like I always keep hinting at someone we don't like, but it seems like we all have different people for some reason.
Yeah.
What?
I liked him. I mean, he wasn't too bad. The one thing that kind of pissed me off was that I could handle it the
Pissed
one
Taylor
time.
I want to know what pissed you off.
Yeah.
I could handle it the one time where he's being dragged off by the blue monster. But when it happened a second time, I'm thinking this guy's fucking useless.
He
He's
really
supposed
had
to
to
be
hit
the
over the
top-
head that these two monsters were
He's supposed to be the top of the line in his career and job. He's being dragged off a second time by these fucking monsters.
He
I'm
was
thinking
being dragged. He's just like,
useless.
ah! He's like fighting.
He's a
That's
fucking
true.
pylon, to be honest. He's so useless.
And in his montage he gets
Pylon.
before,
Pylon.
he's
Oh,
kicking
I
ass
love
and
it.
taking
I
names.
love it. He's
In the
a pylon.
montage.
Nothing but a filthy pylon.
Yeah.
It's just a plug in a movie.
Moving on, you brought him up. Let's talk about Killer Croc. I feel
Killer.
like the lamest C-rate version of Groot. They wanted him to be like the big kind of like big guy, kind of funny, can't understand him. I didn't laugh once at one thing I said.
No.
He didn't need to.
I did laugh at one of his jokes.
I didn't laugh at his jokes. I laughed when he's in the jail cell watching
the
BET.
TV?
Yeah.
It was so cheesy. And he's just like,
It was so bad. It was funny.
and I feel like he didn't need to. Like honestly, these next characters we're talking about, I feel like the majority of them, for me, didn't need to be there. He's one of them for sure. I found in the fight
waterhole
scenes.
scene.
I found in the fight scenes he was super lame. They just do slow-mo shots of him like throwing guys to the ground, bite someone's fucking face off or something.
Oh, yeah, go
like
for the jugular.
it was so.
Rated PG-13, Travis.
They're
Yeah,
poo
like,
monsters. It's cartoony violence. Like, use your claws. All he was doing was like brute
I
strength
didn't even know he
stuff.
had claws.
And
Yeah.
like for me, like other than that dead shot scene where he's on the car firing, all the action scenes in here were super paint by the numbers and lame and did nothing for me. There's no scene other than that
I would
that was
say
good.
the good thing about Killer Croc is that he wasn't in it very much, so at least we didn't have
Well,
to...
technically he's in it the whole movie though. Like he's just in the background there, just like.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with him like a background character, you know, just a scaly looking
See, and I'm
filthy
not.
monster.
Like to me, they should.
Because the thing is, from
He
the
should've
trailers,
been-
this was a character that I was probably not going to care about anyway, and I didn't, and he didn't take up much of the movie for me, so I was like, alright, that's fine.
But then, like you guys can answer this after too. Do you feel like he could have just not been there and not mattered, right?
That water scene.
I
Who
feel like
else
he was the
can
only
be
guy
in
who
the
could have
water
thrown
if
that
it's the
bomb
water?
with such accuracy.
I know.
I guess for me, I feel like
He was the only guy who could have done the swimming, even though the other guys
That's
doing
my
the exact
life.
same thing.
Jumps
They
down.
all died.
Like
Oh, okay.
that's my
Rip,
thing.
didn't
I
know.
feel like
So
they
sorry.
should have just done
Sorry.
like 5 or 6 members of the squad
Oh.
because like
They definitely could have cut some.
didn't need
Did
to
some
be
cuts.
there
Did
other
some
than
try-
They could have trimmed some fat.
comedic time. We'll get I guess to the rest. And what did you guys all feel? Killer Croc.
Killer Croc.
Master time.
If you could have 7 less lines.
Like I feel like all of his lines were like quick little like one-liners. They were
His
just
7
like
lines.
a lot of people just didn't
Beautiful.
laugh at. Like I
No.
definitely wouldn't laugh at.
There is a
The
lot
one
of
scene I
moments
did
in our-
laugh at was when he was asking for BET. I was like, that's hilarious. All right.
There's a lot of moments in our theater that the people did not laugh. I'm surprised. We had like 13, 14-year-old boys.
I feel
behind
like
us.
we were laughing the most out of anyone.
Oh
to be
yeah,
honest.
and I was like, I
When,
was worried.
Yeah.
when he had that line where he's like, I'm beautiful, you could hear the sigh.
Oh.
It was just like, wow, that was awful.
And I felt like that one scene in particular was just so stretched out. Like it was awkwardly long.
We're gonna get to
it
that
wasn't,
bar scene.
It wasn't long, but like it felt long, which is how he was just like took like a second. Then he's like, "I'm beautiful." It's just like
And he seems so much weaker than he should have been. Like
Oh,
how they just
yeah.
went up and like put the nanite in his
oh, I
neck.
should have like
Yeah,
snapped, like,
I did
shot
not
off
think that
the
was gonna
skin.
happen. Or they just shot him with like one like tranquilizer.
Oh
He was
yeah,
out.
he was done.
The
I was like,
taser?
they're
Yeah.
huge. He
I
was
thought you had like
bad.
scales or something. I guess not. Like it's just.
And I felt like when they
They're
took
all
off
tattoos
his
and
That's the
everything.
human body right there.
when they took off his shirt too, he wasn't even that big. And this is what frustrates me too. Is the guy that they have. I can't pronounce his name, so I'm not gonna say it. He's an actual like actor. I feel like you could have just got a massive bodybuilder, huge wrestler, and it would have been the same. But like when he takes his thing off, his arms aren't even that big. Like I wanted Croc to be like Arnold back in the day, but it's just like okay, he's just like he's a bit
He
bigger.
was incredibly lame.
Yeah. What Taylor?
Wow.
Favorite character.
Taylor,
He
love
was
Croc.
He was my favorite character. I didn't expect him to be like.
Oh right, you said that. I forgot.
yeah,
we just
yeah,
shat on him.
yeah, we shat on him. Sorry.
That's so
He's
funny.
my least favorite.
Tell us why though. Tell us why he was your favorite.
I I ended up just liking him because he there wasn't too much of him in the movie, I guess. And
I love that part too.
I would have been okay with a lot more of him in the movie, but there wasn't, and he just, like, his few lines, I don't know, there was a lot to him that I didn't get to learn really enough about as a character, and I really was drawn to him as a character because I wanted to know more about him, and I just found, to me, like, I didn't burst out laughing, but I chuckled, and I looked at my girlfriend like, that was fucking awesome. Like, when he's like, I'm beautiful, and think, oh, you fucker, that's hilarious.
It's funny because he's not beautiful.
Oh yeah,
I got the humor
that's
there.
so good.
But I mean, I thought he, as a character, I thought he was interesting because they treated him like a monster. They disrespected him and treated him very badly, and that's why he acted like a monster.
Yeah.
And then when he was with the squad longer and longer, he became less of a monster and became more not human-like. I don't want to say that, but he became more civilized. Yeah. And then at the end, I like seeing that because a character that was just abused and treated as a monster, and he gets to sit there with his TV. I don't know, even though it shouldn't be in the movie because it's super cheesy, but I still thoroughly enjoyed that, seeing him get to be treated not like a monster at the end of that.
You know what, I'll give you that. He didn't really have an intro at all. It's like, oh, here's Killer Croc. Cool.
He did those sewer scenes of him just like eating people.
Was it?
Well, there's
He,
your
like-
face rip off.
Yeah, but like,
But no, when you drag him
but-
in the water and you didn't see shit.
I'm just saying, like, when you were watching, like, Deadshot was, that's a really long, like, intro, and then you watch Harley Quinn, really long intro, and then it's like, okay, now we gotta get Boomerang, Killer Croc, and, like, we're done, let's go,
And
now
that's
we can move on.
And that's the thing for me, like, when I always talk about, like, the Guardians thing, it was, like, 5, and you had, like, they did, like, mini intros for them all, and you learned a little, where this felt like they had mini intros at least for everyone, but then they focused on 2 characters and did a lot for them, and the rest had no story or
and
background.
most of them were like all at once, kind of. All
Yeah,
intros.
and which I could buy if throughout the movie, for me, they made those characters good.
Yeah.
But, like, him, and Katana, and fucking Diablo, to me, were not, like, they were just so
I
one
think
note.
Diablo was that bad.
Let's
This
talk
is
about
my
Diablo.
family.
Diablo.
This is my family. I've known them
Oh.
for 3 hours. This is my family. Are you fucking kidding
You know what?
me?
That was a major cringe moment for me.
Do you remember that line, Dylan? Because it's when the Incubus,
suicide,
he's
yeah.
about to kill him, and he's like, no one mess with my family. And it's like,
Yeah.
what?
No, because he was like, I lost one family. I'm not losing a second.
That
family.
Oh!
That was like, oh.
God, and it was so bad.
Before that, I liked it.
I did like him. He was like the silent, like calm guy, but then
Really, to me, he was like your like Spanish
Stereotype? Yeah, and that's what I didn't like. It was just like, essay, you want to mess up? It's like, really, and they make, of course, like, the one Mexican guy is super abusive to, like, his kids and his wife, and
he was a gang member, man.
and he sells
That's
drugs.
what gang members do.
yeah, but but why did they have to make that the Mexican guy? Like,
Tattoos. That's what people with tattoos do.
I felt it was
Totally
lame.
stereotype.
I
He
felt
was
his
lit.
fire effects. He was lit. I felt his fire effects were actually lame.
Oh, they're really
Bye.
You
Wait,
didn't
bye.
like his wife dancing?
That
with
was
the-
so lame. And then at the point when he's like, I know he's like remembering it, but when he's like holding her, and then she turns to ashes, and it's like, oh my
Yeah,
god.
that
Because
was
there's
bad.
some memories.
When Will Smith like got him enraged and he's like, throws out his fire. That looked really bad.
Yeah. And I felt
when
like
he killed everyone in that prison yard, they showed that scene twice for some reason. They shouldn't have even shown it once.
they did that
showed it a few
once. They
times.
did that more than once. I'm gonna talk about right now.
Oh.
Wow.
The John Clinch.
What is that?
So they literally show us the scene.
I think you need to drink some water real quick. You need to chill.
No. They literally show us the scene where Enchantress fucks off, goes to her brother, Amanda Waller stabs the heart, and then Enchantress is talking to her brother. An hour later, they give us a flashback of the exact same scene.
Yeah.
They're giving us flashbacks to scenes we've already seen.
In case
we
you
don't,
forgot.
we don't need that.
It's a
We
long movie.
already know that she got away. And because in the movie, they don't even explain it too. They don't even explain why her and Ric Flair are under in that sewer. It's just like they sent us on this
I was
mission.
very confused.
Yeah,
about
and
that
then
part,
they
too.
flash back to it again. I'm like, oh, maybe they'll explain it more. No, they just show the same thing of her like fucking up and going. It's like, what? And that's, I mean, the
I think we went
flashbacks.
back 3 times for that under the sewer.
I can't remember if it was 3. I know for sure it was 2. But like, and yeah, the Diablo flashbacks to me are lame. And I know there's actually a lot of people that love Diablo. Actually, they walked out really liking him. For me, it was just the stereotype didn't work. The acting was fine, but it was just like, I felt like he would have been better if there was less members in the squad again. Like if you would have been like, let's say you did like Boomerang for comedic value, Killer Croc as your big guy, flesh him out more, Quinn, Harley, and then you got Flag as your captain.
And
Add
Katana.
one more of
Don't
those
forget Katana.
characters. No, take her out. She doesn't. she has 3 fucking lines. And she's randomly crying out a sword for no goddamn reason. But we're going to get to her in a second. But, like, I feel like you do those 5, and then add one more who you're going to talk about. But then, no, they have, like, Killer Croc, and they have Diablo. And that's what I mean. I feel like they wanted to make this emotional arc. And we'll talk about it quickly now. We fucking have a bar scene where he talks about killing kids. But then Killer Croc and I cannot say his name. Killer Croc, yeah. Other people, they start talking about this, and then they start joking about it. And that's one of my biggest problem with the movie, that the movie had no idea what it was, if it was a dark movie or a fun movie. Guardians the whole way feels fun. BVS, the story and writing is not the greatest, but it feels dark the whole way through. Yeah. This was, like, super dark. He's talking about he murders his family, and then they're joking, and it was, like, really, like, what? And then Harley Quinn has this awkward moment of like, you need to own up to that. You did that. You killed that kid. When in the beginning of the fucking movie, it shows her stats, it says, killed Robin. He's a fucking child. And she kills children. And he's like, you need to own up to that shit. So fucking lame and lazy writing. Like, that moment fell flat because it's like, in the comic books, Joker does that. But now they said in this universe, she helped kill Robin. Who in this, we're supposed to assume he's going to be a 12 to 14-year-old kid. And she's mad at Diablo for killing this kid.
I didn't take it so much as that she was, like,
not mad, but she seems self-righteous for me.
I think that goes back to, again, like, she's just a crazy person, so, like, her reactions could be weird, but I feel like it almost could have been interpreted as, like, she would own up to that kind of thing, so she would want him to do that.
Would she, though?
I don't know, I feel like she might.
I feel like it just wouldn't even bother her. She's just so batshit crazy.
But that was my problem with her act. Like, she felt, like, offended to me. She felt like she couldn't believe they didn't just... I felt a Deadshot as the guy with a fucking kid should have been that character. Of saying, like, hey, you killed your kid. Like, you gotta own up to that shit. You gotta live with it, and now you gotta move on.
Yeah.
Like, he hasn't, like, the whole movie they've been playing Deadshot, Deadshot as a kid, but it's like Harley, who, like, to me, like you said, super crazy, and I just didn't feel, it felt awkward to me of, like, why is she calling this out?
I'll agree with you saying that was, like, lazy acting.
It was
lazy
good right
writing.
after there. That was the turning point.
Yeah. That was your turning point? For the movie being okay?
I felt that when he grabbed the binder, that was the turning point for me. Because, like, I don't know, it just kind of got weird.
The turning point, to be honest, was when they showed the Joker the first time, which we'll get into, but they did that super cheesy, laming editing where he was, like, in rainbow, and he was, like, when he was talking, he's like, I'm not going to hurt you, and it was, like, flashing, and he was, like, there's that was just, it felt like...
Isn't that happening in the comic books?
No. I don't know. Taylor, Diablo, how did you feel about him and just this whole overall, the kids thing, the Harley thing? Like, that big present, what did you feel about that? Because you've been quiet over there about Diablo.
I would have liked, like, they could have changed a few of his flashback scenes, like, to make them a little more, not full-on in-depth, but just a little more explanation of what's really going on, because I didn't fully understand, like, if he, like, he said he got angry, and that's why he killed his family or whatever, because he got really angry. Man, shit.
Well, see what happens when he gets angry. He grows into this big fire monster.
But I mean, I genuinely felt bad for him.
Yeah,
I felt really bad for him because you have this guy who he stripped away and just he killed off who he used to be and just didn't want any part of it. He didn't want any part of anything anymore. And I genuinely felt bad for him throughout the whole movie. I wasn't, like, I didn't care when Will Smith was like, oh, come on, pump it up, we'll do whatever, and he's gonna obviously use his power.
But, that's what I heard in my head.
Yeah. I felt bad for him at times. Yeah. I just, like, there's just certain times at the end he got really over, like, he's that girl who you go on a date with, and then the next day they're like, I think I love you. Like, he was like, I don't care about these people or the situation, and then he's like, I'm in, like, let's do this. And then they have that awkward, which we're gonna another one we're gonna get to, is the dream sequences they all have in the final fight. In the middle of this big battle, he has this dream sequence about his wife asking him if they're gonna do some kinky stuff tonight.
Yeah, that was really weird.
Killed it for me, and I legitimately belly laughed in the theater loud to the point where I'm sure people were probably annoyed at me. But it was so lame and cheesy. Which, like, we're gonna do some kinky stuff, and it was like, are you kidding me? We're in the middle of a big battle, and it's just like,
you think?
Yeah, this is what you think. Not just like, It should have just been her sitting down and him cuddling her because he misses her. But
that's what. Get to think that?
What?
Or was she putting that in their head?
But she was putting what they most desired. Yeah. So what he most desires is just to fuck his wife again. Yeah. And he's a piece of shit character. Yeah, but now he's not supposed to be. Oh man, I've not even gotten full.
Diablo is definitely another trash character.
Yeah. Speaking of trash characters, I'll speak for it. You guys can say if you feel the same way. Katana did not need to be there.
Where did she come from?
She jumps a helicopter. Hey, this is Katana. She's a badass. She captures souls with her swords. That's it. Then she gets two other lines later. Completely pointless, non-needed character. Like, waste of space, waste of... not talent, because I don't even know she's good actress. Like, just waste of, like... Why? Why was she there?
She watches his back.
I think
you didn't need that.
You're just missing the
edited version, right?
What?
The extended version.
Yeah, well, they're announcing there's going to be no edited version.
Who else would watch his back, though?
No one would.
What?
Who else would watch his back?
Deadshot. Right away, he's like, we can't kill him. So you already... No, the first time Harley goes to take him out, Deadshot's like, no. So you already established that Deadshot's looking out for him, but Katana's there. She does nothing, and they're doing this weird thing with Captain Boomerang and her of, like... She's crying about her dead husband, like, we should get a drink sometime. And that fell flat to me, because it's like... And then she's just, like, randomly in the corner, crying over her husband. And I'm not supposed to give a fuck about this character who's speaking for the second time in this movie. She's like... And that's what I mean, like... People, to me, have, like, thrown this stuff, like, oh, well, Guardians, like, they weren't that fleshed out. But it's like... But these characters weren't fleshed out at all. There's literally, like... This is a line, this is what they do. Guardians be like, hey, this is Rocket, he's been experimented on, and then later on in the movie, he talks about his struggles, he talks about, like, how he feels so alone. This is Katana. That's it. She does nothing. Why is she so sad about... Yeah, her husband died, but it's like, I have no...
By the sword.
But, I know, but it's just like, why is she talking to her now? She's completely cool the whole movie, like, I don't know. She's, to me, one of the way... And it sucks for that actress, but for me... You could take her out, makes no difference. Nothing. She wasn't cool.
That could happen a lot in this movie.
Yeah, she wasn't like a cool badass. It would have been different if her actions...
You needed her katana sword to take out the heart.
No, you didn't. That could have been a gun. That could have been a fucking gun, and you know it.
I would have rather them switched. I would have rather El Diablo's still alive, and she could have died, to be honest, if they were going to kill someone.
Wow.
What?
I'm offended by that.
I would have rather most of them die. Like, to be honest, there's only a few I'd keep. Like,
I really want Nick Flag out of there.
Rick,
get rid of him.
How did you guys feel about Katana?
There's nothing to feel.
Okay.
She's boring.
She's definitely like not like round character. She's definitely a flat character.
She's the flattest one there, I think, out of all of them. She doesn't even speak.
I like samurai swords. She had a samurai sword, so I was like, she got a point.
Her fight scenes were better than other characters.
Yeah, I disagree. I don't think they gave her any cool standout moment. If she would have been the cool action scenes, but the action scene that I remember is Deadshot. Not her.
I think her fighting scenes are better than Diablo's, better than Killer Crocs.
Fair.
Better than Boomerang.
Boomerang.
I think Boomerang could have had lots of cool stuff, and they just didn't do it. This guy was like a boomerang as a weapon, and he was just constantly just punching and like.
I didn't feel like he did much for the storyline either.
He was just comedic relief.
I actually liked him like quite a bit more relative to the other characters.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like he had a little bit more of an intro than your Killer Crocs, your Diablos, your Katanas, things like that.
He's the reason Slipknot died. So.
And that was a good scene. Let's get out of here. Like, this is it's all in your mind. Like that was actually a really good scene.
Yeah, I thought that guy was good. The only thing that was confusing about him was like when he came back and joined them.
Okay,
after he left the bar.
That was like that Amanda, whatever her name is, when she just popped out. Like that was literally identical.
It made no Okay, sorry, one point I want to say because we're moving on from her. I didn't like at one point she could talk English and she went back Japanese. That's all I just want to throw out there because I forget. But Boomerang, yeah. So they're at the bar, great moment where they're like, oh, well, Rick Flag's like, you guys can all leave. And he books it, bolts it, and he's gone.
Yeah.
And then later on, he just comes back for no apparent reason. There's two things I want to say on that. One, I would have preferred if he would have been gone the whole time and at the end of the movie, they showed him back in the jail, like hitting the camera. I would have preferred if he left on that funny moment, but at the end of the movie, they still riled him up, and he's like, fuck, like I tried to get away.
Han Solo shows up when they need him most.
But I didn't want that. I wanted him to be like, oh, they still caught me. And no, like, at the end of the jail, so when he's panning the camera, I just want him to disappear. Gone than that. He comes back. and you guys can talk about Boomerang. And the other thing is, I didn't buy the majority of them sticking around to fight this evil thing.
Yeah.
Because the whole movie, majority of them are all like, I can't wait to get the fuck out of here. And then now that they're like a really poorly written family, they're just like why is Killer Croc sticking around? Why is Captain Boomerang come back? You know, like, why does, like, I guess Katana, well, I was going to say, why is Katana there at all? But, like, I didn't, and, like, same thing with Harley. I didn't, actually, no, Harley I bought.
Katana wasn't, like, a prisoner.
No, I know, that's what I remember. I just meant, like, she shouldn't have been there. Oh, but, like, Harley I bought, because she's, like, Joker's dead at this point, supposedly, so she just needs something to hang on to. But, like, Boomerang and Croc, and, who am I'm forgetting somebody. That's how many people. Like, even Diablo, I didn't buy. This whole movie doesn't really want to be in the fight, but then
His family.
Well, I know, I didn't buy that, but, like, one, how did you feel, like, Dylan brought out the Boomerang thing, and then two, did you guys buy at the end these villains being like, you know what, like, let's go save the world? For me, it fell flat, because, like, they didn't develop it enough for me to believe that these people are, like, anti-heroes now, you know?
I think, like, Boomerang, the kind of thing that I felt was, he left, that was funny, but then I feel like he realized, oh shit, where am I, and how the hell am I getting out of here? And then maybe he just kind of...
A car!
There's not really any road access because everything was blown up and
that's bullshit.
Stuff,
Not every road is marked off, Taylor. Come on.
It was pretty destroyed. Tanks
that's
were destroyed.
bullshit.
There were planes in the roads.
There were planes in the roads.
Jets and
Jump!
everything.
Oh, come on. These are guys gonna fight a fucking, like, god and he can't find a way around a helicopter?
I don't know. I feel like he was wandering and then he sees them and is like...
Those taxi drivers are vicious, man. They can make it through anything.
Can't get an Uber out there.
Yeah.
But as for, like, them going into fight at the end, I feel like... Because they all sort of looked at this shot as being like their natural kind of leader in a sense, I felt. So I feel like with him still pressing on, I feel like Killer Croc, I didn't see him needing a reason to go. He was just kind of going with the flow, and they were all kind of drawn to Deadshot and with what he was going with. Like right away when he made the plan to escape, all of them were with him and agreed with that. And from that point on, they were all kind of just following along with him and what he was going with.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like with Boomerang just piecing out and then coming back, like it feels like he pieced out for the joke. And they're like, yeah, we still need him. So
he's
we'll
like a
boomerang.
boomerang.
Yeah.
He goes out and then he comes back.
Yeah, but I think, obviously not symbolic.
Are you Zack Snyder writing over there?
This guy's a genius. I think other than that, I think Boomerang was a good character. I think he was funny.
Really?
I think he was more funny than like other characters. I think
More funny.
not in like a telling a joke kind of way, but just like, you know, when he just gets up, when, you know.
I felt his one-liners and humor was much more natural than the rest of theirs.
Yeah, like
even
I think
Deadshot.
it's because like for some reason they gave him a little bit more of an intro than the other characters. I don't know why, but
I'm with you. I like Boomerang, other than to the end when it didn't make sense why he came back. But the actual character, I liked his humor. I like when he pulls out the lighter. He's like, "You're the fire bloke," you know, and like he's doing all this like stuff like we saw in the trailer, but it's still the beer can. Like he's just doing all this like stupid stuff. The unicorn, which the unicorn that was the only one that was kind of like a little lame, but it's like okay, like no, I actually liked Boomerang despite that part where he's like, oh yeah, I'm still here. Like
he's a character that I'd be glad if they like had him in another movie.
He might be in Flash.
Yeah,
he is a Flash villain.
That is something I wanted to mention. When the Flash did pop up to see Boomerang, his armor, was that his armor from Justice League, or was that his armor that we saw like previous?
No fucking clue.
No clue? Okay,
no clue.
That confused me. I wasn't sure, like, okay, did Batman already recruit him at this point, or what
no, because he gets a folder about him, so apparently no.
Yeah, apparently, so.
But that suit looks pretty high tech.
Fighting crime.
It was pretty high tech, so.
What do you guys feel about Boomerang?
Plot hole.
This movie?
None of those.
No.
Not one in sight.
I don't know. I agree with like what you were saying. Or like one-liners were like more natural than everyone else.
That's a good point.
It's not like I saw it and I'm just like, oh, he doesn't have to be in there. Like, I'm glad he was in there. Like his funny moments, like I actually like laughed at and stuff. So.
Yeah, he's one of the characters I would have kept at. Yeah. When I'm thinking of like, oh, if I wanted to pick 5 that would have made this movie better, just being them, I would have kept him.
It's not like a Deadshot moment thing where it's just like, oh, like he's a character that I really really like and like I've really grown to like that character. It's just I like him.
Mm-hmm.
No complaints from him. Really,
I think
except for that last scene. I guess.
Even that would be like that would be your flat character out of all of them.
Out of that should have been the low. That should have been like the low.
Yeah, because he was the least fleshed out of like. Even though you don't like Flay, he's more fleshed out than the rest of them because he has the backstory with Enchantress and everything. So it's like they all kind of have something. Obviously, we don't need Turtle Slipknot. I'm guessing.
No.
I thought it was pretty
No?
funny.
I thought it was pretty funny for how fast he died, to be honest.
I thought it was classic.
Because when they introduced it, I was just like, who is this guy? I'm excited to learn who
The
he
fact
is.
that he didn't have that introduction, and like when it lists all of their like traits and stuff, I'm like, as soon as he goes off, I'm like, oh, he's fucking dead. He's gonna.
I
And
wonder
he's in
what-
the photo.
I want to
too.
know like what. I want to know like the backstory behind that. Like, did he have more scenes and they cut him for like time
No,
purposes?
that one I think for sure.
Why did they write him in the first place?
I think they needed a
Specifically
character
so that they
to
could
die right.
Yeah.
for the neck thing?
100%. They
Yeah.
took a character who in the comics no one's gonna miss. Because who's gonna miss a guy whose special ability is climbing shit?
When he
Oh
was
my
dishing
god!
out
You know what I
those
just realized? If that's like if that's like for some reason like your sleeper pick, like oh I love this character, and you saw this movie, oh my god, I would be so mad. I'd honestly probably walk out like if that was me.
he doesn't
Unfortunately, I have no idea who he is, so like
he doesn't
I don't
even
care.
climb the buildings that fast. Like,
No, it's not. He
Batman's
shoots it, he's like-
grapple is way faster. It took
Yeah.
a solid
And he
5
has to like,
seconds
he has
for
to
him
like
to
attach
get
to
up.
his
Yeah.
side belt. He's
Yeah,
sliding
Actually,
up.
the physics behind it, like how is that grapple move that
Yeah.
slow? Like,
But he's a master at
It must be
I
like
don't
a
know.
GeekVerse drone.
He like went onto one platform and then was going somewhere else.
You could see Rick Flag not giving us any fuck at all.
And I
because
like
the guy
that,
wasn't gonna
because-
get away. Yeah,
Just going-
this guy's so fucking slow. Rick Flag's like,
They're like I saw it coming. I knew that guy. Was in there.
This next person we can talk about, and we'll tie into like main story. No, that's not who you think it is. We're saving that one till the very end. Enchantress slash the villain slash Incubus.
Incubus.
That's who the actual guy. That's his brother. You know,
That's-
they would think you
that's
drop
right.
his name, but
I had no idea who the brother was.
Well, actually, I didn't think it was that weird that they didn't drop the name. I feel like a lot of these movies, I walk out and I don't know who these characters actually, what their names actually are, and that's fine.
see, I don't think that's fine. That's a fault of a
Why?
movie.
Like,
You should know.
I came out of Avengers not actually knowing that her name was Scarlet Witch, and she's like my favorite character.
But-
I didn't know
But
that was her name.
that's
It
because they
doesn't
didn't
matter.
call her that, though. That's my thing. Like, they should be calling them that. She should just say Incubus. Like, they don't even drop it. Like, just
Well, if
say,
that's not his, why? If
that's his name, though.
I just know
Well,
him
that's
as
Scarlet
brother.
Witch's name.
That's all I know him.
That, I'm saying that's wrong, too. They should have dropped. They
But I
should have
feel
said
like-
Scarlet Witch.
I don't-
Her language she
Okay,
uses
well, I
is
don't
like,
think it
oh
does matter.
brother, like you don't say oh incubus.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
But they don't even at
Oh.
one point when they have the
Oh.
run, when they have,
Bring me Diablo.
when they have when they have the rundown of like, oh, she was in a cave and blah blah blah, and her brother. They could have dropped the Incubus thing right there.
Yeah.
Like that's my thing of like
You didn't even know she had a brother until like she found him, right?
in a
The way-
fucking
the way
little
I saw it-
jar,
Yeah.
and she finds this random dude in a bathroom. Like it's one of the lamest. I'm showing my cards. One of the lamest villains of all time movies. Not even comic books, movies of all time. Them and Enchantress. Enchantress is awful. Awful.
Silence.
Do you guys disagree?
I
Like, how do you feel about
say-
Enchantress in the whole thing?
I liked her.
Between you did?
I'll jump in.
Wow.
I'll jump in real quick. I liked her in the beginning. I liked her when they first showed her off as like this dark creature.
Yeah,
like I
that's
thought she
true.
was actually pretty bad. And like when they showed the switch, like
The
I
Switch
thought,
is awesome.
I thought that was really
The Switch.
cool. And I'm like, oh, like I kind of like this character, but like I don't know when she like became human and like had her flesh out, you know, like I
Someone's tickling her the
and
whole
like
movie.
all of her like
And then she's trying to do her best Gladriel impersonation. Oh, I knew you would come. And it was just
Yeah.
like, it's so fucking B-rate
Yeah.
cheesy.
No, yeah,
It's so bad.
I
The
agree
line's
with you there,
bad.
but like that's going on like what I said for the overall movie. Like I love the movie for like the first half. Like if I could rate it for our first half, like it would be so high. Like the low, like the last half, like, that would just be like
Mhm.
lower than probably what it is on Rotten Tomatoes, which is like 37%,
It's 27 now.
27%.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Slowly
But yeah, no, like I did really like her in the beginning,
Why
and
is
like
he where?
and we're probably gonna talk about the fight scene at the end, which
Oh, I was looking at my
Yeah.
notes to make sure like,
Oh,
I
no.
have it.
But,
that fight scene is awful.
when she, like turned like super like dark and creepy. Like I liked
That
that.
was so spooky.
I thought she looked really like badass and
Oh.
creepy, but like
And then she gets her fucking like Egyptian look, and that looks so lame.
yeah, I know. But like when she was like that dark, creepy character, that you didn't really know who she was, and like going into it, I didn't know she was the villain. So
Yeah,
I
I
was
didn't
but so like I was saying, I liked her in the beginning, but
Why did you like her, Dylan? Yeah, I want to know.
I really liked her origin. I thought that was actually really well done.
I like the
in terms
origin,
of,
yeah.
intros, I thought that was really good. I agree with the creepiness factor of
Yeah.
it, like the Blair Witch sort of thing. You know, you go in
Mhm.
underground. There's like all these weird
you
formations.
see this thing just sitting there.
Yeah,
I
no,
know.
I like that.
I
Yeah,
like the
creeped out.
creepy factor of the character. And so, yeah, I definitely like when she's in what is that? Is that still like Enchantress when she's in that like kind of.
I think that she's just always Enchantress.
Enchantress in like God form because she's.
It's kind of like the Jean Grey thing, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was kind of
obviously that was worse. I think
became, like, human.
that actress, like I don't know, her face like didn't fit like what that character should be, I guess. So that was kind of weird. Her lines were pretty bad at that point, but like for the majority of what that character was in the movie, I thought it was good, and that's why I liked it. Like when they're in the meeting room talking about, or I guess proposing the plan, and then they get her to show off her power and stuff.
Oh, the switch, man, that was so bad.
Yeah, and obviously like the hand thing was really good. So I think she had some really good scenes like in general for just any specific character.
I think for me it's just
and
the
like
ending is so poor. All I think about is
I don't think like those movements were like that unnatural and weird.
Oh, to me she should have just been standing still and talking.
She's not like a regular person though. Like she's a fucking witch.
But it looked cheesy. Scarlet Witch is a witch and she just stands like it looked really. It looked like it was in from a Transformers sort of like no, because like I'm thinking of just bad movies. And that's what
I love Transformers.
I don't know. It just reminds me of like
number 4 is my favorite.
The creepy people in King Kong, like those weird like native people.
Yeah, see, and I wasn't creeped out. I was like, you look like you're on cocaine.
Oh, what'd you say?
No, just keep talking. I'm trying to think of that game that reminds me of when you're like first person shooter.
It's like Fear.
No, like Primal. It's like a. Not Left 4 Dead. I don't know. Anyways.
Resident Evil?
No, it's a sweet game. Anyways,
it's a sweet game
where you kill someone and then you kill the animals and then you take the animals like hides and or their blood or their meat and
Minecraft.
Anyways, later on in that game, it's very like primal, exactly like Enchantress, like that goddess mode where. Like, it's all these, like, chemical...
Far Cry Primal.
That's it! Far Cry! Oh my god.
That's what I thought you were talking about. And then I thought you were talking about...
The names you listed were all horror.
Oh, I know.
That's where I thought we were going.
Okay, no, like, Far Cry is, like, the third one. Yeah. That's exactly what Enchantress, like, when she went to that god mode, reminded me of completely.
I agree with you.
Towards, like, the end, you're like, wait, what is this? Like, what's happening? Like, I kind of was okay with her just being, like, the way she was and not in this, like, god.
I liked her more as the dark, creepy character.
Yeah. I did. It's not her as Enchantress, it's her as the villain. And Incubus, the second she switched to the villain, it feels like C-rate, really lame, and the CGI looked bad. Incubus looked like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, not literally like the poo monster. It's just like, he's this weird rainbow thing.
That was a good point, though, how you said, like, you liked her until she became the villain. And that's exactly like
and that's all I can think of is the ending, because the ending is...
so bad.
It's so bad.
Balls.
And to go in that, because you brought up Kirkland, they had this fight scene with Enchantress.
Oh.
They have a fight scene, fisticuffs, swords.
Such a useless
They
scene.
throw her back, and then what does she do? She uses her hand and takes all their fucking weapons. And it's like, so we just did this 5-minute fight scene for what? To kill time? This movie, it's so lazy. Like, it's so lazy.
It's definitely quite lazy.
The back half, man. That's what I was saying. I love the first half of the movie, but then...
She could fucking evaporate them all. I love Harley Quinn. She's a fucking normal clown person who doesn't know any, like, fighting skills. In this movie, she can do Hurricane runs and shit, but it's like, there's no, like, she could just destroy them, and she does, like, and even then, with Incubus, the whole movie, he's been, like, killing people and using his arms. But this is the time when he, for the first time ever, throws his arms out and misses. He's hit all this other stuff before.
They ducked, to be fair.
Oh, yeah, they ducked alright, but it's like, he's so...
He was
going for the headshot?
Very critical
He's going for the criticals.
He's so big, anything is critical. Like, Taylor, I'm sorry, I didn't ask you before we went on that point. What did you feel of the villain? And then I guess the final fight scene, you guys talk about the final fight scene as well.
Woof.
I was like, wow, okay, woof.
That was the thing
Yikes.
with, like, the trailers. I didn't even know that Incubus is the brother's name.
Incubus is the main villain.
I didn't even know he was in the movie, so I think kudos to them for not actually spoiling that.
Fair.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good point.
I just wish it was cool.
I didn't even know who the villain was until the point where Enchantress is in the room and she's about to grab that secret manual of all that information, and she kind of glances at the heart. Then I realized, okay, here's someone that I think she might actually be possibly another main villain here. I don't, because I was trying to figure out who are they up against here, and I immediately saw, okay, there's something there.
Yeah.
But as the villain, like when she changed in that CGI form in her like new form, whatever, her final form. I didn't find her as intimidating or scary. I thought she was much better as her creepy.
She's like super
form.
hot too.
Yeah.
It's like I don't fear you anymore.
Yeah.
But when
she's so good. She's creepy and dark.
Oh yeah, she should stay like that the whole time.
When Incubus was walking around though, like I'm not sure if his name is the Destroyer from Thor, but I just saw the two of them like back to back, like they could be almost like twins. Except
It's just like
things.
like typical, just like generic, like big villain. And I never understood why he's so big and glassy and rainbow, but she's like a person.
I did like when he changed in like that train scene. That looked cool.
That was cool, but I didn't like that she's just like all it took was like you take a jar and you throw it to some guy. It's like he's alive, and it's like okay, like it was like and they and the fucking line of like. There's really no. Do you guys remember why they want to destroy the world?
Because they worship machines now and not them anymore.
Yeah, and
so they're gonna make a machine.
It's the classic.
You don't have the balls.
Well, they didn't.
You don't have the balls to kill me. That was brutal.
Of all the bad lines, that was the worst.
That was like it was at the worst timing too. It was like the end of the movie. You know,
she's a character that's been around for 6,000 years, and she says you don't have the balls. Like, and that's her. It's like super.
But don't you think like because she spent a brief amount of time with June Moon? Is that her name?
June Moon.
I feel like June Moon wouldn't say you don't have the balls.
Yeah,
she was possessed. She possessed June Moon for this long period of time, and she was there when she fell in love with him, and she obviously felt all these emotions at the same time that June was, and so she knew that they were deeply in love. And so when that scene hit, always I don't know. I saw it kind of. I let it by because she was just trying to really piss him off. And she's obviously learned a lot about this time.
She should have said something like just something simple like you're never gonna get her back or something like to do with June. Not to do with like you don't have the balls. It's like oh my god, are we in a Steven Seagal movie right now?
So many cheesy like lazy writing. I think.
I have a lot of lines coming up. I can't remember if that's the worst one. I think you're right, but I have a couple.
That was the one where I was like,
which one?
I'm like, what's the rating on this movie? PG-13.
What line was
they
it?
throw around those words?
Balls.
I think they call each other pussy.
They called pussy a few times. Yeah.
I was
Harley
kind of
Quinn. Yeah, she's big on that one.
I like to go back to Enchanted. I really liked her from the beginning until I found out. I kind of hated that she was the reason of being the villain.
Yeah.
I thought like she would be more like helping in this.
I thought she was in the squad. Like
the squad.
Like, the way
and then like, the squad's not even together, and she breaks loose. They're just like, "Whoa, we're putting it together anyways," and it's just like it's so like kind of rushed.
Yeah. It was so rushed.
I wish they had I wish they would have killed some of the music videos and had a montage of them doing other missions before this. Mini missions of taking out just shitty like mobsters or criminals.
Going into the movie, I didn't think it was just gonna be a one mission movie.
And then they could have been like 6 weeks later, and when Diablo drops This Is My Family, I could buy it. But when it's 6 hours,
so you want like a Fantastic Four kind of.
No, not one. No. I don't want Fade to Black 1 year later. I want a montage of them doing a bunch of missions.
Funny,
the turning point of
it'd be funny if they did that 1 year later, or even like just quickly do like 1 week later, and like they mention that Slipknot died at some point. Like they don't even show that scene. You're just like, yeah, we lost him on our first mission. He got shot by an arrow in the leg, and I don't know, he's just gone.
Arrow to the knee.
Yeah, he just died.
The thing that made me laugh, this is a start point for the movie.
He was climbing a mountain and he fell.
I was looking at pictures.
Too slow.
I was looking at pictures of the premiere.
The wind dragged him off.
I was looking at pictures.
Branch. Sorry.
We're getting off track here.
Go for it.
I was looking at pictures of the premiere, and he custom made a leather jacket that had like Suicide Squad logos all over it, and it had like his logo. It's like not an actor, and it's like, buddy, you're in the movie for less than 5 minutes. Like, good on you, but they're not bringing you back. I think it's about that time we get into the elephant in the room. I think
Have we already gone through all the characters?
I think so. That's what I was gonna say. Is there anything? And honestly, I have notes like plot points we can talk about quickly too, of like stuff that like I remembered we'll talk about. But just to go through the rest of the cast, like
the guard at the jail.
Fucking awesome! Thank you for reminding me. He was my second favorite character of the whole movie. The guy who you remember who?
Of course.
That was when he gives Harley the phone. Oh my god, that was so funny.
And she's like, "You're so dead."
Yeah,
and he's like, "What does that mean?"
Yeah.
You're so screwed. Harley, what does that mean? Yeah. My favorite line is when the guy kept chopping the meat. He's like, You're killing it.
Yeah.
You're killing it, dude. It was he.
was hilarious,
I wanted him to be on the fucking Suicide Squad.
I honestly thought he was the leader. I honestly
be so happy.
Oh yeah, and like, and that, yeah,
I hate that character.
and that line too when
So bad.
Deadshot's like egging him on. He's like, "Are you really want to do this?" And he's like, "Oh, you can't take me." He's like, "All right." I really bought him as like a big asshole. Like you're right. Like he almost should have been Ric Flair leader. Like he was asshole, but like the only one joke I didn't like. Fuck, I can't remember. He made one joke. Clear my browsing history. That was really like.
That was uncalled for.
That was lame. That was. He was just
a
like.
classic joke.
That's
Yeah.
a classic joke.
But like, I felt
Something
like
to
no
do
one
it,
really laughed again. Like lots of the jokes that
You know what?
are theater.
The writers are probably like, you know, they're just in the writing room coming up with ideas that someone thought of that line. They're like, okay, I don't know where we're gonna put it in, guys. We'll find some point. We'll just slap it in there.
Oh no, just you wait until after we're done the review. Like, there's some stuff that came out about the writing of this movie. Well, yeah. So.
Wolf.
He was phenomenal. I can't stress enough. I want him in Suicide Squad 2.
He was
I
pretty sick.
could take a movie. And he's a good actor.
I liked
he's
him
a
and
Neighbors.
Harley as well too at the
Oh, yeah.
beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love him in Neighbors. He's
Yeah,
so
he's
funny.
so
Oh my
funny.
God.
Neighbors. Have you seen Neighbors 2?
Yeah.
When he's the
Neighbors-
clown?
Yeah.
He's so good. He's such a good actor. Really
People love
underrated.
clowns, man.
Yeah.
What's his name?
No idea. I'll find out the end of this and we'll shout
He's
him out.
hilarious
Yeah,
though.
because
He's really good. Yeah.
You guys have anything to add on Alpha 1? I think that was like his technical name.
Oh really?
Everything was like Alpha 1 or something.
Alpha 3.
Yeah.
No, nothing to say.
That was Slipknot before, and they're like, just call him Slipknot.
All right.
What
Bread
were
and
you-
butter.
Oh, I said, did you guys want to say anything on?
Oh no,
No.
I enjoyed him. I thought he was
We're not
funny.
even at the bread. We haven't talked like. We're at still a cast.
Yeah, I think that all the cast members were good until that bar scene, and then it just flipped from right there.
Now, Dylan, I just
Fair.
want to ask, because you said you like really liked it. Did you feel this like at any point? Did
I wouldn't
you
say I really
say-
liked it. For me, it was just
Okay.
like, it was like
Did you have
much
that flip
better than
moment? Is what I'm
BVS.
asking.
It was much better than BVS.
Did you have that flip moment? Because Taylor didn't. Us
I
three had a moment
definitely-
where like
I had a
it
flip
flipped. Was there a moment where
Well,
you like kind of liked
here's
it
the
more, and
thing.
then something
I
happened?
went into the movie. You know, I heard that it was getting awful reviews. I was gonna hang out with someone today, and they're like, "Oh man, I hear that movie's awful." I saw your Twitter rage, so like I went in. I was like, "This is probably gonna be a bad movie." No, I'm at the theater alone. My friend ditched me. I'm here alone. I'm just hanging out. I'm just gonna try to have a good time here.
Mhm.
So I just
Had a good time.
I went in more with that mindset. Obviously, I can see like a lot of these characters you've seen in comic books and stuff, and like you've been waiting years maybe to see some.
Slipknot been waiting.
Yeah.
You had your
So,
Slipknot shirt.
Yeah, I don't know. I think for me it was just like my bar was set that much lower, and it like crushed BVS almost.
Well, and that's what
So,
I think. I wonder
I-
for
what I
me
liked
if
it-
that's a reverse
what-
why I like BVS
the
more,
thing
because
is-
I went to BVS like you, and I liked it more. Where this one I had higher.
I think
and then
for
I
me,
liked it
the-
less.
I mentioned it before, but it was I went into BVS and I knew exactly what was going to happen the whole movie.
Yeah.
I already knew the plot. This movie, I didn't know like from the trailers. I didn't know
That's
what was
fair.
going to happen. I didn't know Enchantress was going to be the villain. I didn't know anything really.
Yeah.
So that's why I liked it. I guess
Yeah,
more
that's fair.
than
Yeah. As soon as the movie ended, I turned to Taylor. I was like, "Yeah, it was fun."
It's definitely fun. Yeah, I would never say like this is
it
not.
was, it was fast, fun, and friendly.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
say.
Oh
The three
gosh.
Fs.
It's a good old reference.
FFS.
I figure we just start positive, and then you can just go.
I don't. Well, yeah. I was gonna ask you guys to start first. I don't know if there's positive. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the Joker now. I feel like going into this movie, this was easily the most controversial thing already.
Very
It
much
was just
so.
how he was gonna be, his look. This was definitely the most talked about thing. All over the posters. A lot in the trailer. You know, even though like I
It
was
was a
listening
big
back.
face to the movie.
Yeah, even though I was listening back to some cast, Dylan and I were like, I don't think he's gonna be in it that much. We kind of vibe. Taylor, what did you think about this new incarnation of the Joker? Anything you want to say? I have stuff I want to say about Joker and plot points. Obviously, but we'll talk about that. Talk about the character and the acting first. We'll get into some of the stuff like we were talking about with Harley and stuff like.
Well, I didn't know. I went in with like an open mind. I didn't know what to expect. Like for Joker, I wanted to see how his interpretation would be of the Joker, and I wasn't disappointed. Like I got the sense like he was insane. He did that part well. I had something important about him that I was gonna bring up.
His green hair.
His green hair, yeah, that was
Damage?
very, very green. The tattoos actually didn't bug me.
That's what we were talking about.
Yeah,
He
they didn't
stand
bug
out,
me.
yeah.
Every once in a while, I'd get damage. I'd be like a little piece
I
of me
actually
die.
don't remember a moment where
No.
like I remember the damage.
That
I
didn't bug
barely
me.
remember the
Yeah.
the
It
damage. was
really,
very
like,
faded.
when I was watching it, it wasn't something that stood
Well,
out.
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It still bugged me, but it didn't stand out. Like it didn't ruin. Like That was not what was ruining the scenes.
Yeah. I don't know, I mean, I don't know what most people would probably want out of the Joker. Like, I personally found him entertaining. I think he got the job. He got the point across as being, like, insane. Like, when he went into that one room where the one guy was there, he went to the guy said, he's killing it or whatever, and the Joker went in. I immediately got the feeling of, like, oh, this is kind of, like, freaky. I feel a little bit of, because the Joker just walked in and I can feel that kind of tension. And sure enough, like, he kept just progressing, and it just got a little more like, holy shit, like, I feel a bit freaked out. And the more scenes with that, like even when he came out of the back end of the helicopter and he was gunning down and laughing, I thought, this guy's really fucking nuts.
He's pretty nuts.
And to see him actually like in that kind of action scene too, like he didn't really have that. I'm not comparing to the Dark Knight, but other Jokers, I mean, it was cool to see a Joker actually in the fight and just going like not giving a fuck. Like he had that gun and he was gunning the guys down, and he was more like. Have you
not seen The Dark Knight when he's literally just shooting in the middle of the street, shooting at Batman?
I know, but to see him on the back end of a helicopter with the machine guns flying and he's got one, he's gunning it was just
very Michael Bay.
It was very Michael Bay, yeah. I don't know. That's what did it for me, that Michael Bay part.
That scene was made by Michael Bay.
But yeah, overall, I think he was okay. He definitely wasn't my favorite character of the movie, but
wasn't your least favorite?
It wasn't my least favorite.
I admire you for that positive.
He wasn't my least favorite either.
Who was your least favorite?
Rick fucking.
Least favorite?
Yeah.
That's a very good question.
Curiosity.
Yeah,
you're pretty positive.
I mean, if you don't know, you can say it for later.
No, I need to know right now.
You know, I really didn't care much for it was Katana or Nick Flag. Between the two of them.
Nice.
We definitely know his name is Rick Flag. It's just a joke, I imagine.
I just keep forgetting because of Rick and Nick. So for me, the Joker, I was surprised how much I didn't mind his look. I think he actually looked fine. The tattoos, I guess, I don't know, I didn't really like the mouth tattoo. That was kind of lame. He had like one on his arm too at one point. It's like,
so
you're really into that? You do like,
he's dabbing, he has a smile.
He's like a vampire or something, I don't know.
And yeah, at one point when he's talking, he's just like,
yeah,
and he's just like, what the fuck are you doing?
For me, I couldn't get myself immersed in it. It didn't seem real. It felt, instead of the Joker, it felt like Jared Leto, and I haven't even seen him in anything else. It felt like him like trying to be the Joker or something. It was. I just didn't believe it. It didn't make sense to me. And then all of his interactions pretty much with Harley Quinn were really bad, and it was just from his perspective of it. Like, I think that Margot Robbie did a great job, right? Everything made sense from her perspective.
You feel the chemistry on half that side.
Yeah. And it's weird. You don't see that very often. Usually it's just like, oh, that seemed weird. But it was just from his side. I didn't like his laugh. I don't know. It just seemed like he put so much like work into this role, and it just like didn't pan out. Like, it just felt flat. I was pretty disappointed in it.
His vision was off for the Joker.
It just... no. He seemed crazy, but like it didn't even seem like he was actually a character in the movie. You know, it felt like he was an actor, and it takes you out of it, right?
That's a good point right there. Yeah.
So yeah, that's my opinion on the good old joke.
The good old joke.
Jokey.
Mr. J.
Mr. J's worth.
Going into it, I definitely thought that he was going to be the main villain of this entire movie.
Should have been.
Yeah, but
could have been.
He's not.
I don't know. Like, I'm gonna kind of compare it to like the Lex Luthor sort of thing. How it's just like
that's not good.
It's totally like it's totally not what I envisioned like that character as. I'm not saying that it's the thing that like ruined the movie, because it definitely wasn't. Like honestly, like looking back on it, if they took the Joker out of this movie, it wouldn't have changed anything. Like really, like
I got that in my notes.
Yeah, like really, like other than like him like trying to rescue Harley, which I just didn't. I don't know. I feel like he just wouldn't care about Harley, to be honest, or like he has other things going on.
Then yeah, let's just talk, because I don't want to go yet, because alright, like I think you make a good point. Does everyone else feel the same way that you could take him out and not be in? Like it doesn't make a difference to the movies.
I think if they did, you know, maybe change like one or two scenes
or they
of Harley Quinn, and then it would just like. It could have patched it up, yeah.
For the way I wanted it, I was telling this to somebody else, that I would have almost preferred, like, and the only reason they did this because they wanted Joker's face on posters, so people go, but like in a film quality way, in my opinion, is they should have maybe had only one or two flashbacks of him and Harley together just to know how Harley started, and not have Joker do this at all. And my idea was if they would have been super ballsy, they shouldn't even announce who was playing the Joker and just said the Joker's in it. He's gonna have a couple scenes, and that would have been sick. And we wouldn't, even myself, who wouldn't have liked the tattoos, seeing it first time, I probably wouldn't have had months to analyze it. And that's what, because the amount he is in this is a joke. When the Joker, to many people, and a lot of people, is considered, is considered one of, if not the greatest, like fictional villain of all time. Yeah. And this is, you have him in your movie. And this is what you do with him.
I think one thing I forgot to mention actually is how lazy and terrible it was that he was just texting Harley Quinn.
Thank you! Fucking, it's, oh my god. Yeah. The Joker fucking texts in this movie. Yeah. That means the Joker sat down at Bell and got a service plan. Like, yeah, I really need big data. Like, I'm texting this girl all the time. He's like, oh. And he kept doing this fucking shoulder thing. Like, people are moving weird in this movie. But, like, yeah, I hated it. They were like, it was like, it reminded me of the Ben Affleck Batman email thing of, like, I'm coming for you. I'm close. Be ready. And it was like, this is so fucking lame.
With iPads, too. Like, hey, check this out.
You know? Oh, yeah. And like not only is he texting her from, like, a burner cell phone, he has a fucking icon of, like, a Joker picture of, like, yeah, because it's, like, this speech bubble, and it's, like, a picture of, like, an animated Joker, and it's, like, are you fucking kidding me?
They're
like,
just using technology these days, you know?
But I just imagine the Joker sitting there doing this. Like, it's so... No, I think you bring that...
It's actually speech to text. Like you.
Sir, we can't hear you. I'm coming for you.
Are you having a stroke, sir?
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, how did you guys feel about him being used in the film overall? Like, I know it's kind of, but like, how would you have done it, or what did like?
Yeah, now that you
I agree with what you said. To be honest, because like how they just wouldn't have even like talked about him at all, and then just have him like in there, like I've been like, oh, he's in this movie, right? Like that totally would have lifted it instead of just like every scene that I saw him in, it just took points away from the movie. Really,
it was super random.
Really, yeah.
Now to mention, I would have been fine with him just being in flashbacks and then save him for like another movie where he's.
Or imagine if that's how the movie ended.
Oh yeah.
That would have been sick. Imagine if you got those two flashbacks. He's on the whole movie, and Quinn's in her cell, and all this shit's breaking down.
Been, yeah,
and then you're like, "What's going on?" And Joker shows up. Oh, I got goosebumps.
I'm not even kidding.
And you would have been like, "Oh my god!" And now they're back together. But it was this weird cat and mouse game.
That's what I said. I actually got goosebumps.
Yeah, like that would have been such a good reveal of like it reminds me if you guys have seen First Class. I kind of knew it was coming, but that when Emma Frost is sitting in the cell, and all of a sudden the building starts to shake, and Magneto appears, and it's this cool moment of like, oh man, he's becoming Magneto. Where this was like, you knew the Joker was gonna get her at the end of the movie. You knew that if the movie's ending with her sitting there, there's no chance he's not like showing up with his shield-vested Joker imprinted jacket.
You know, I definitely agree with what you're saying, and I feel like when the movie comes out, I'm going to like skip past. I'm gonna watch the two flashbacks of him, and I'm gonna skip to the end just to get that feeling. And you'll see where he walks in, and just seeing the Joker, and be like, "Oh shit, is that really the Joker?"
And especially if they make a big reveal because he takes off his helmet. The only thing I don't like is This is the thing. I'm not gonna go full into it.
Go through it.
No, because guys talking is still on.
Own it.
No, I'm gonna
own it.
He takes off his helmet and he's like,
you don't have the balls.
He does this. He does this. Hang on. He does this. He's like. And it's like, what the fuck? Like he's so overacting it. Like he's just trying. Like, you know how Ledger in the Dark Knight does these nervous ticks and things, like how his tongue always comes out when he's talking, and it's stuff like you're like, oh, that's fucked up. Where this is like you said, it feels like he's acting. It feels like he's trying. And
it was creepy and like he's like this weird, you know, it's like that weird uncle who's like touching someone like.
Thank you. He didn't scare me. He just felt like pedophile, creepy guy. Yeah. Like, and I said this after the movie.
That one scene when he like sits on some guy's lap.
He straddles him and he makes him.
He's like rubbing his face and stuff. It was just like, this is just weird. This isn't the Joker. This is like you, Jared Leto. I know you want.
And it's like a different incarnation. I get it, but it didn't work because like the whole even thing of the Joker, him sticking his finger out to make him kiss his ring, was super lame.
I thought he was gonna like.
Hit him,
slap him.
I would have been fine, but just this
maybe like electric shock on his finger.
Kiss this ring. And it was like, what movie are you from? Like it's like
he should have just been rocking a ring pop. Though.
He feels like an early 2002, 2003 like villain of some sort. Kyle, you can talk about the Joker and
what do you got, my friend?
And how they used him.
I don't know. The Joker for me was just I'm just so blank with words. Like he was he wasn't. What I was about to say, he was over. No, like
You weren't impressed, I'm getting.
Pardon me?
You weren't impressed.
I wasn't impressed. I feel like the whole him and Harley, I think we've all kind of touched, well, you guys all touched on it, like him Harley type thing. I felt like that was just a one-way street, where it's just like, Harley, just giving her 100%, and he's just like, oh yeah, that chick, I kind of like her, I should probably follow her, but...
Yeah. Well, and then at some points he, like, loves her, though.
Yeah.
It's like...
Oh, he was, like, going out of his way to, like, save her, which, like, at those moments...
And it doesn't really, like, they don't really explain why he really likes her.
Why we kind of need...
Yeah.
Something else. Like, there's just something missing in this relationship.
In the beginning.
Or a whole fucking movie of just those two, because it would make millions. I was saying this last night, we live in a movie where Deadpool's one of the biggest movies of 2016. If you put Joker and Harley Quinn in a movie together, people are gonna go see that. It's not like, and this is what is just so strange to me, you know, that they just like, and like I said, I already brought up, but I just hate the way the Joker's introduced. They bring him in like he's a nobody. Like he's just like, are you done?
Oh, Travis is ready to pop off.
I'm just gonna let Travis go.
Yeah, like, I don't really know.
Even like when they were like, Batman was, wow. When Batman was chasing them in the car, and then all of a sudden, like, they crash into the river, and that was sick. But then you think, like, Joker, like, would try to help.
But he's just gone.
But he's gone. Like, there's no animosity for...
He also, it was like in a plane that crashed, and he's like... I mean, he could probably find a way to survive that, but he just...
He's a parachute, always.
I was okay with that.
Oh.
Of him just, like, crashing in that helicopter, and then, like, just showing up later.
Yeah.
Right, because that's like the whole, that goes back to the whole Harley, like, thinking he's dead and everything.
I said to Kirkland, I'm like, I hope he's dead.
Yeah.
I was like, please be dead.
I knew it wasn't, but I was hoping for it.
Yeah, I was like, just pull it, let Harley be the main thing.
Yeah, like, even the whole sexual pedophile thing, like, I totally feel you on that as well, too. It just felt so out of place.
He was feeling
and,
it,
like,
too.
Oh, he was really feeling it.
And handfuls.
I don't know.
His feelers, his filthy little feelers.
Yeah, the nervous tics or whatever.
Like all my fingers, feelers.
That's what he'd probably call
it.
Alright, Trav.
Okay, Travis.
Take away, boys.
He's practiced this in the mirror, folks.
I have some stuff written down, so I probably will look just to make sure I cover all the bases. To preference this is coming from a guy, because people are going to be like, I've talked about how much I love Heath Ledger and blah, 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 so they're going to be like, oh, you're biased, blah, blah, blah. That you love Heath Ledger so much. This is coming from a guy who, when Heath Ledger was cast, I did the same thing as Leto. I said, this guy's not going to be a good Joker. He's not a good pick. There's so many other better picks out there. There's Adrian Brody, there's Paul Bettany, there's Sean fucking Penn, one of the greatest actors of all time. All these people that were talked about for the Joker. And they cast Heath Ledger, who was a fine actor in my opinion, but did not do anything to warrant getting this, like, iconic role. And this was a count from a kid, too, at that time. I said, nobody's ever going to outdo Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson was perfect. Top 10 start to finish. The movie comes out, I'm blown away. It's my all-time favorite acting performance of all time. The Joker is my favorite fictional character of all time, tied with Batman. So this coming from a guy who, much like Jared Leto, was very, very nervous and not really looking forward to it, but I mean, like, I didn't think it was going to be that good. Ledger proved me wrong. So with Leto, it's not at all that situation. It's the exact opposite. It's exactly, I've said it on Dynamic Duo, I've said it on this cast. My biggest fear about Jared Leto was with this whole with the rats thing and sending used condoms, which he said it didn't happen. Whatever. All this talk about the stuff on stage and everything like that. The quote that I feel like, because I listened back to a podcast and I saved it just in case this happened, was I always felt that he was playing what he thought the Joker was and not really what the Joker is. And that's what this movie felt. Everything that I feared he would do with the Joker, he did times 10 in this movie. And especially lots of people be like, oh, it could be writing if you didn't like it. The director's quoted of saying, the second they casted Jared Leto, they changed the direction of the Joker. And he's a fucking Oscar winner. He's going to have some say. I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm just saying, and I'm sure he's a great guy. But, like, the take that he took and what he did was not good. It is awful. It is one of the worst things I've ever seen. It is this weird combination of Jack Sparrow and Jim Carrey's Riddler. And it's just all these movements.
I love Jim Carrey's Riddler.
But it shouldn't be this. All these movements when he's like, he says something about his crotch and all this. Like, he seems like when you watch SNL and they do skits about a big movie, he seems like the SNL version of the Joker. He does not, like, the whole pedophile thing, like that. That's something you would play up in SNL. This didn't fit at all. Even then, too, when he's talking to Harley, like, would you live for me? Would you die for me? It's like, what the fuck are you babbling on about? Where, like, in The Dark Knight, it felt like, with Jack Nicholson's, he just said random crazy shit. You get a check. With Heath Ledger's, they gave him this strong, really deep stuff that was saying that would make you think of like, hey, Batman, once this is over, they're all going to turn on you because you're a fucking freak. But if this Joker's he's just rambling about stuff that they felt like, oh, people are going to think this is deep, but it's not deep at all. And it's lame. And just stuff like when he kisses the ring, he's like, oh, you really meant that. And like his voice is continually changing. He has the Eisenberg thing where he's randomly just making noises. He motherfucking growls at a person for 10 seconds. He is not scary. He is not intimidating. It's one of the worst things
I think of his laugh.
It's not. It's probably the best thing he has, but it's lame in some parts. It comes off too cheesy. It sounds like the Penguin.
I'll piggyback on what you're saying with the laugh. Like, it wasn't something that stood out for me that was like, oh, that was so bad. It was just like, it's
the best thing about it.
It's the best thing,
which is bad. And for me, and that's just on the performance. Now, like, to get into the character, this, I already said it feels like he's a villain from a different movie. It's the Eisenberg thing again. He doesn't fit. He does not feel like the Joker. And I get it. If you like it, great. And people throw this all the time at me and be like, hey, it's a different interpretation. They're doing something different. I get that. I understand that. What I'm saying is what they did was awful and bad. I hate people throwing that argument at me. Like, well, they're trying something different. I'm allowed not to like this different thing. Yeah. And lots of people don't.
Yeah,
and this is the thing.
That's for sure.
Nicholson happened. Everyone loved Nicholson. Heath Ledger happened. Everyone loved him. He got an Oscar. I've seen tons of people tweet out and say they love Jared Leto's Joker. I've also seen people say it's a bag of shit. And like once again,
I heard that too.
Yeah, and it's a thing.
I did not hear that.
Oh, but with like
I've been thinking it, but
with those two, and you have fucking Mark Hamill who does the voice, who everyone just loves and says that's a perfect Joker.
Yeah.
You have three Jokers that people just brag on and on and on and say all this great stuff. And this is the first Joker where people not just dislike him, but really dislike him. So it's this thing of like, I get it. You can like the thing, but don't treat me. And just, I'm saying this because some DC fans on Twitter, because some of you are just so fucking immature to people on Twitter. Don't tweet it like nobody else doesn't like this interpretation. It's not, and you shouldn't bully anybody else. But I kind of get if everyone's like, fuck, I love Heath Ledger, and there's one guy that's like, he fucking sucks. And I'm not saying to bully that person, but you could be like, oh, how can you see that? I feel like it's like, I've seen more people, to be honest, crap on the Joker than give him props. And like what it's coming back to, the character does not fit. He is a selfish, psychopathic, kind of lone wolf character. Everything that he is in this movie is not the Joker. Him being flashy with all this bling, sitting in a nightclub, texting,
pimp cane,
a cane, stuff like that club scene is super lame, and him just talking, and he's trying the Ledger thing again, and when he's like doing that impersonation when he's like, oh, it's getting so intense, and it's like, it's just all cringeworthy. And this, if you listen to our BVS review, I extremely dislike Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I hate this more than Lex Luthor. Because Eisenberg, you could have saw it get good. You could have saw, you know what, there was a chance, and they took a turn, and it didn't work. With this, right off the bat, you felt like something was off. You felt like something was wrong. And people throw at me, too, of like, oh, well, there's lots of cut scenes of him. I do not think that is a problem. That is the choice he made. You can clearly tell that is the Joker the whole way through. And I was talking to somebody about this earlier. I don't want him anywhere near a fucking Batman movie. Because can you imagine Batman going up against that guy? I can't. And this is the thing as well. Back to the Joker character. It changes all the time, but I think a lot of people have this idea of the Joker, or like the Joker, that leaves ambiguous of, is this a crazy guy, or is this a guy putting on a show for everybody? In this movie, he is clearly just batshit fucking crazy, and has no idea. He looks like he acts like a mental patient, I get it, but in a guy that's like, a guy who rolls around in his own cum and feces type of guy, a guy that you wouldn't imagine, this fucking crazy ass guy who has no idea what's going on, who just grunts at Harley when she falls, and he's like, like he's making sounds. This is the guy that's the top of the criminal organization. No sense. Now, if he was crazy like that, and he was the lone wolf Joker, just showing up, wrecking havoc, makes sense. But he in this movie is supposed to be Scarface. He's supposed to be the king of criminals. No sense. The character, through and through, between the Harley love stuff, between the way he acts, between the acting, it does not work. It is the lowest point in this movie, and I don't think that's why they cut it, but there's almost some part of me that wonders why. And like, this character is not the Joker. I get it, they did a different take, it's not him. It's this weird abortion abomination version of the Joker. And I'm sorry if you like
alliteration, though.
Yeah.
If you like it, that's great. I'm saying my opinion. I'm not going to be like fucking DC fanboys who are like, oh, you don't like it? You're fucking it. If you like it, great for you. And I'm happy. I wish I loved this. I love Joker. I want it so bad. I want so bad to like Jared Leto
you asked
and
as soon as you
Joker.
put on the glasses, that's what you said.
Oh, I'm like, I just wanted it so bad. And it's just, it is awful. It is cringeworthy. His scenes. Every scene he is in is annoying and lame. And then to take that out, this is the last thing about the, not the last thing about the Joker, because I think we're going to talk more about that. But like,
Are we?
I don't know. I just imagine it's going to
are
come.
you?
I imagine it's going to come up again because we've opened Pandora's box.
Alright, go on.
Is the utilization of the character? You have the Joker, and he's an afterthought. He's completely forgettable in this movie. I'm putting aside the whole I don't like him in the movie. Him as a character doesn't work, and he's just there, and he does not have a Jack Nicholson reveal scene. He does not have a Heath Ledger, this is my magic trick, why so serious? He is nothing like quotable. Like, that's it. We have like 5
lines!
my crotch.
Come on.
He has nothing quotable. Oh, you meant that.
That's
We're
a
gonna
good-
be friends. Like,
That's a good point, because like the why so serious, like that's a huge quote that like everyone knows.
but
is,
and
like,
there's so many, like, he says, I'm a dog chasing cars. Do I look like a guy with a plan? There's so many moments. You think about the interrogation scene, the pencil trick, and I know I'm comparing, but it's just like the Joker is that huge character that should have those scenes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying they're better, which they are 100% better.
But this isn't the Joker movie.
What? But it doesn't matter. Neither was both Batman
The Joker,
movies. And
let's
he
just
should have
say-
been
let's
a
just say
better
that
version.
He was like pretty much played by Nick Cage. Is like a pretty accurate representation.
Kind of.
Oh, I would like that.
But if it was a better version of the Joker, he should have been the fucking villain in this movie. If they
Yeah.
didn't do the whole, he's just the flashback, he should have been the villain. Batman's off getting the Justice League, Joker's out, and then you get this great moment of what's Harley gonna do? Does she turn on her team? Does she just go back with Joker? Does she, like... Oh, we're gonna get into this for a second, too.
Let's get into it.
The relationship...
What are we getting into?
The relationship, people can love it and say, yay, goals and blah, blah, blah. Guess fucking what, people? In the comics and animated series, Harley Quinn is a pathetic-ass piece of shit character who is funny and fun and crazy. But you know what? She stays with an abusive, serial killer, psychopathic prick. He hits her, and before you're like, they film scenes. I sent it to Kyle and Kirkland today of the behind the scenes. They film scenes of him smacking Harley around. But in this movie, and because the fucking studio, we'll get in that later, decided to tamper with it and they want to make it more fun, you just get this weird love relationship, but this relationship where you're just supposed to take that these two just love each other a lot, where the basis of that relationship in most medium is he treats her like a piece of property. His most important piece of property, but a piece of property that he constantly smacks around and sends off. But in this, they just love each other. And it's nothing... We've seen movies with crazy people in love. I'm not saying she didn't act well, but we've seen that. We've been there, done that. Give us that crazy people, but he doesn't hate her, but he's not, like, she's a tool to him. You know, and even if he does love her, he doesn't show it like that. There's people think he does love her, and he can't, but he doesn't show it most of the time, and it's just like, this relationship that I was looking so forward to, they felt like at the beginning they were going to get into it, but then they just pulled back and like, no, they just love each other. No matter what, they love each other. We don't got to explain why, and I get because she's crazy, but like I said, he lobotomizes her, so why does she love him? Why does he love her? The whole Harley Quinn and Joker thing could be a movie. It could be a fucking 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10.
I mean, to be fair, he doesn't really give her a lobotomy. He gives her electroshock therapy.
You know what I mean, though. But we're to imply he does something to her mind when clearly she already loves him. She already loves him. So it's like they wanted the best of both worlds. The Joker Harley Quinn story and Mad Love is one of the great storylines of all time, and they completely botch it in showing it in 2-minute flashbacks that are completely underwhelming. And I don't that's the one I don't understand. I can understand people liking it, but they did not do this relationship justice at all. At fucking all. Someone please take over. Because I just like
I think the Joker's been a little bit talked about. A little bit too much at this point.
For how little is in the movie, I feel like we're...
But I feel like it's worth it, because they didn't make it that way. If you look at the trailers and the previews, and we as smart people and do a podcast kind of knew he's probably not going to be in this. But to my mother, who she's not going to be mad at this, but people like that, you're going to go in assuming that, especially the first trailers made him look like a villain.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
for sure.
But
his laugh was on the logo of Warner Brothers.
Yeah, but he's not.
I actually never really had that conception that he was the villain. I thought he was kind of going to be the role he was.
I did the first trailer, to be honest. The very first trailer, I thought they'd be hunting him down. And I like that idea, because it's like it's small, contained. And because, too, poo monsters use guns. So the whole movie, they could have just been fighting Joker goons. That's the thing that bugged me, too. These poo monsters were literally shooting guns.
Yeah. At first, that didn't make sense, but then when they mentioned that they're just like people, I guess.
They're just poo monsters.
I do have a question, though, about one of the Joker scenes. I probably won't get an answer because I see that the Joker doesn't make sense.
I have an answer for you.
You have an answer? Okay. Well, the one part where he's lying down in that circle of weapons, in the top corner you could see blue and pink baby clothes.
Yeah, I did see that.
I thought that was Harley Quinn that was always really obsessed with having a baby and such, so I was kind of surprised to see the Joker kind of in on that too.
Maybe they...
Oh, fuck. Go ahead. Sorry. Go.
I'm just fan theories here. Maybe. You see, maybe they, were trying to have a child of some sort, and then Joker, crazy motherfucker, like, push her down a flight of stairs or something.
The classic push her down the flight of stairs.
Baby's gone. Still has baby clothes.
I'll show you the clip after he legitimately hits her.
Were you talking about the dream?
Yes, I just clicked it now of remembering that.
Oh my god.
So Enchantress sends those dreams to everybody, right? So
yeah,
that was so.
She emails them.
Diablo gets the king's dream. What does Deadshot get?
Snapchat.
Doesn't he just get some of his daughter?
Kills Batman.
Oh yeah, which was fine. Okay,
which is understandable.
I thought his outfit was a little strange, and that's his dream outfit.
No, that's what he was when he was gonna shoot Batman, right? That's what he was wearing.
Yeah, well, that's what's supposed to be like in the flashback. He actually kills.
Is this guy Magnificent Seven as well?
So Harley's, and this is another thing about the romance being so bad. Harley's fucking dream is has 2 kids, which explains her thing there. Yeah. So she has 2 kids, and then you see a man who you said just looks like Christian Bale from American Psycho with his He looks exactly from that. It's Jared Leto is supposed to be a normal guy, and they are pretty much picket white fence. Everything's happy. Now, this is where why I have a problem with the whole I don't buy them loving each other. Like, I do buy it, but like, it's... No, hang on, let me finish. Okay. She's imagining a perfect life, right? With him?
I'm gonna let you finish.
I don't want to get myself hurt.
She's imagining a perfect
It doesn't matter what you...
She's imagining a perfect life with them. But the thing is, her perfect life with the Joker is them being completely normal. Even though... But hang on. If Joker pushes her into the chemicals, makes her crazy, she didn't choose that. She jumps. She chooses to be crazy. She's attracted. We are supposed to assume the whole movie is built upon she's attracted to the Joker because they don't write it. We're assumed, like you said, you're supposed to read the fine print. So I'm doing that. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Okay, she loves him because he's fucking crazy. And what does she want more than anything? For them both not to be crazy.
I don't know. Well,
and it makes no sense. It shoots the whole romance in the head.
I kind of got the feeling that through the movie that she obviously was batshit crazy, but there was still like maybe inklings of like a normal human being in there. And so her dream wasn't necessarily a normal life with him, but just like to be normal in general. And that's what they did with like the washing machine, right? On the washing machine it said normal, and then it like zoomed out, and then you see them in the kitchen. Do you not remember that?
I don't remember.
No, I don't remember that.
Okay, well when you watch it again, the very start of her flashback is a scene of like their washing machine, and she clicks like normal cycle or something.
Oh, of the dream you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it zooms out, and then they're like in the kitchen, or I don't.
That's a good cast.
So her dream was to be normal, and so it didn't start with her and the Joker. It started with her and a kid, and then obviously the Joker's part of it.
But then remember after she's like, oh, he was gonna marry me or whatever in her dream.
No, well, obviously he's in the dream, like he's part of it. But I think more than anything, she just wanted to be normal, and I think throughout the movie,
I don't buy that though. I don't. That's the problem. I get that's what they're portraying, but I don't buy it.
I agree.
But you don't buy it because you think she gave up being normal the moment she jumped in that vat of stuff.
When she did that, when she gave the Joker machine gun, when she let him tattoo
even before that, she wasn't normal.
The thing is, it's not like you're one of the other, right? there's parts. There's gonna be parts of both, right?
But you don't know if she's not normal or not, Taylor.
Yeah, we don't.
And that's my problem.
They didn't cover that very, very well.
She's just with him right away. We don't even... I just want a flashback of her first day at Arkham. She's gonna talk to the Joker. See her as a cute little girl, and then Amanda Waller could be in the narrative, and then she talked to the Joker, and then it's quick cuts of rah, 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 and all this crazy stuff going, and she's crazy. You didn't even see her. You just see her leaning over a table and giving him a kid. It's just so... It's thin for me. It's like... But this is the thing. Dylan explained it better than what the movie does, though. And not because I just didn't catch the normal. Good they don't... Because at no point in the movie does she even hint at being normal at all. No. She's just right in that moment of oh yeah, I guess I want to be normal now. And it's that's
I thought
poorly written.
Earlier when she asked, have you ever been in love? Maybe.
That's not normal, though. She was crazy and in love, and that's a...
It's a
crazy in love.
Mad love.
That's
so crazy.
Maybe that's her normal moment. It's have you ever been in love? Yeah, you can be crazy, but
they were clearly in love. They were
crazy.
clearly in love because that's what the movie said.
God damn it!
I'm just being a devil's advocate.
I'll give them a shout out. That one scene she was wearing the Jester costume. I want that more. Honestly, the movie that withstanding the Joker interests me is all those flashbacks. Literally in that all those scenes, they show Harley holding a gun to the Joker, and you're okay. That's just something that happened that will never be explained in this movie.
Lost.
I don't know.
Since we're catching our breath here, I'll just shout out when Margot Robbie was as Quinzel, Dr. Quinzel.
Oh my god!
Oh,
it died.
Oh yeah. I'll just leave it there.
Wish that you were in Arkham
I'll just leave it. Oh man, I'll let her treat me.
Let's go. So what does it mean with you and your Wonder Woman thing?
Yeah,
a little bit of both. One of the I don't know. How's it?
Pretty. Yeah.
I'm
just picturing Dr. Quinzel.
Gotta see Wonder Woman first.
The other line that I thought was a cheesy line was when Diablo turned the fire monster and he said, "It's on, bitch." I wrote that down and it was
you should have been it's pretty lit in
Spanish.
I know.
You would have said that. It's time to get lit.
I did.
Should have been flame on.
I don't know. Flame on. I really like that one line. When Will Smith
steals it from Fantastic
Toys. When Will Smith was in the bar and he was getting mad at Rick Flag, and he was saying how what we're doing here is going to be the Bible or some shit. Because
I know. My daughter's going to see this.
I thought that was really I thought it was sad because he really was wanting to show his daughter he wasn't a piece of shit. He really, and that's what pushed him to go further and go through with the whole mission. So
that bar scene was so good until that I'm beautiful and
the beautiful set through the roof.
Halfway through that bar scene.
Oh, one more thing about the Joker. His teeth look really dumb.
Oh, I hate purple teeth.
He looks really dumb.
Yeah.
At one point, no, even when they push Harley and she's falling and they do a upshot,
you're really oppressing me on this cast, Travis. So it's kind of hurtful.
Sorry.
Let me finish, okay?
Okay.
From the trailers, I was this guy looks terrible. This is not a good-looking Joker. In the movie, it was better than what I thought it was going to be, except for the teeth.
I like his tats.
I didn't like tats, and his suit was still kind of lame.
I agree with you.
His gold suit was lame.
I got some optimism up in here, you know.
His rings, his cane was.
All his rings,
his hair, and when he was in what are those things called? Straight jacket. His hair was just perfect. Oh, it was not messed up at all.
That's what it should be.
Not a strained hair.
That's his superpower.
Yeah. This is the last thing I'll bring up because I think honestly, bring up some last things. This last thing I have was we touched upon a bit earlier. The tone did it bug you guys as much as it bugged me as far as very dark and then very comedic? To me, it was jarring at times that they didn't know what movie they were making.
For the super, super dark parts, the only thing that was super dark for me was the Diablo when he's talking about his kids. Yeah. But other than that, it was definitely updates and.
Do you mean tone or literally the movie is actually dark?
No, I mean tone. Where I felt at times they were trying not so much dark, but trying to get a deep connection with these characters. I felt they were trying to really get into their psyche, but then other times they were trying to.
So bad.
Yeah, but then they didn't go.
I think it kind of fits because, at the end of the day, these guys are villains. They're bad guys. They're killing people on the regular. They're messing people up. They're burning their family and home to
snapping necks, cashing checks, right?
So I think it kind of, I guess, fits the characters, but doesn't really fit the movie. I guess, right? Because it was a more fun, fast paced, fast, fun, and friendly. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I always put this movie just in like two different halves. Like the first half, I just loved it. It was so fun. The first half and the second half.
You two go, and then I'll address what Kirkland said,
know.
because we can talk about that quickly. Why then I feel like that.
I feel like the first part of that movie was like fun, but it still like had that dark connection moment type thing.
I was really into the first half.
There wasn't like there's a couple like bad one-liners, but it wasn't that bad. It's like okay, like that was a bad line, but I can deal with that.
Yeah.
And just move on. And
I'm over it.
I don't know. I really like the first half of that movie, to be completely honest.
Just how you said, like, a couple one-liners, and you're like, you can just shrug it off. It's not like
it's not like the worst.
It's like, we just killed our villain. And she just said you don't have the balls.
And I'm looking at this because I
like
keep,
that ruined.
He did have the balls.
When I rethink of what happened in the beginning, I don't think of Joker. Like I just take that completely out of my mind.
Totally.
Like, I don't think of Joker in the first half.
Dr. Quinzel.
Woof.
Quincy.
And like everything about that at the beginning, like I think the biggest thing for me is the continuity of how they're gonna do. This is kind of, I guess, the bigger picture of between BVS.
I have no fucking clue. Are you joking?
I know, but that's what I mean. Like it's so like this whole movie was fun, and then like dark, and then fun, but then like dark again, and then really bad fun.
That's for me. I feel
June Moon survived somehow. So
they break the physics. I'm like, you kill her, she's dead. It's like, no, she's good.
She's pulled off her skin.
She needs to be in the sequel.
Yeah.
Hey man, Tony Stark had that thing keeping him alive, and then they gave him like a real heart.
But he got surgery at least. She like explodes. Taylor, did you have any problems with Tone, or did you like it?
I didn't mind it. I mean, from the very beginning, it was fun. I didn't get a little bit of dark at the beginning, but it was mostly fun at the beginning, and I got sucked right in at that point. And then as it progressed, I found the whole tone to be really dark, and each character just brought a bit of fun to the scene, and I liked that.
Except for
Enchantress.
Yeah, she was dark all around. When she came in, I was just like, oh shit, it was dark. And I didn't mind that because I had enough fun from each other character, except Slipknot. Oh, actually, no, I had the most fun from Slipknot, I will say.
Slippy.
Most memorable moment of the
Why I wanted to ask that question, other than like us like feeling similar to that, was the day before the movie came out, many high source people, things like Hollywood Reporter, The Wrap, put out a bunch of articles and a bunch of sourcings and whatnot, and people they had talked to. Literally the day before the movie, just took a big dump on Warner Brothers. There was an original Suicide Squad movie, and after BVS came out, it became a light, fun Suicide Squad movie. So what they did is, when they had to do these reshoots, they showed a bunch of like fun scenes.
They hired Nick Flag real quick.
This guy.
I swear, watch it again with that mentality.
He was in since the beginning, and trust me.
He was photoshopped.
So
they're not even looking.
Honestly, for some scenes, I would not doubt it if he was.
So what they did was they went back.
I'm serious. Watch it again with that new one. Okay, go on.
You can't, because he has the whole thing with Enchantress. That's where I top you of say like that's.
She's just like sitting there.
She could have just been a regular old creep.
Either way,
voodoo magic.
So after BVS and the response of people saying it's too dark, which I don't think that was a problem. It was storytelling. They decided they need to add more fun, and that's when they brought in David Ayer's. Or sorry, when he did cut it, they brought in the people that cut the trailer, cut the whole movie. So that's why it is like a music video. They added humor to it and all these scenes, like that scene with Harley Quinn in the elevator. I'm almost 100% sure that was added, which got no laughs in our theater, which I thought would, but it was dead fucking silent. And then what they did was, and this shows just how confident they are in a movie, they showed two different versions to an audience, and then whichever one those screen audience like more, they picked that one. So they had two different Suicide Squads. They screened it, saw which was better. And
they flipped a coin on what they would release.
And they had this weird
50-50, so
they had this weird like togetherness movie of a dark David Ayer movie, and David Ayer was not the one. The director's movie, even though he says it is, I don't know if most people don't believe him just because of like what word is going around. He says that it is his, but like the word is his cut didn't get taken. They went with like this lighter. Like, all those introductions at the beginning were not there. Not the ones in the middle, but the ones at the beginning with all the music of, like, Deadshot. And there was all stuff that was added with music. And for me, like, when I heard that and then I saw this, that really stuck out of, like, this movie is really incoherent. And it does, now it makes sense. For me, if you liked it, I guess it worked for you. But for me, as someone that doesn't like it, it makes sense. It's that BVS thing again of, like, you hear now all this stuff is coming out. How now apparently he had 6 weeks to write the script and all this. Like all this stuff is like there's a bunch of pressure on the production and blah blah. So it's like I'm so tired of like these movies getting like tampered with. And for me, as someone that didn't like it, if you liked it, like it's like great. But if someone that didn't like it, it's like they get tampered with, and it's like you don't know what is like. There could have maybe been a movie I liked, but it's like we're not gonna see it. And apparently they've said there's not gonna be no ultimate cut or anything. And apparently there's over 10 minutes of the Joker that they just cut out. Apparently, so there's like
special features on the DVD.
I think so, but it's still like for me, it's like you have 10 minutes of the Joker, this iconic villain, and you cut it out, and it's like for me as someone that didn't like it, it just like is like oh yeah that makes sense, and I'm just so yeah. But I just want to throw that out there as far as like the tones and whatnot.
How funny would it be if every time you go to see this movie, they just play a random one of those 50? Of those, you just have a 50% chance of seeing one movie.
Everyone that just loves it saw like the other version. It's just,
and,
it's just
that's
amazing.
like not a bad marketing idea. Like you have to go again to like maybe see the other one. Like,
You just see the
I
same
might
shit
go
that
again.
you saw.
I just hate that it's just like they have no real vision of like this is our movie, we're sticking to it, like it or hate it. But it's like
They were
we
definitely,
got this one,
they were
we
definitely
got this one.
indecisive.
Yeah.
In like when they were making the movie, which definitely makes people.
And I want to see the David Ayer one. I want to see, to be honest, I liked the humor. It
I
was
wanna
fun, but I
see-
want to see the darker one that
movie without
has
Harley
Harley
Quinn.
Quinn getting hit by the Joker. Not to be sexist dick, but like I want to, because that's clearly a big plot point. And you take that out of your movie, and it's like for me now, it's like oh, that's why that relationship doesn't work because there's parts missing all over.
well, that would like build to it too, right? Because there's so many cases where like if people in domestic abuse situations like that, a lot of time like strengthens how much they feel affection. For
And
the
you would
person.
get it more?
It's weird, but it's just human nature.
And for me, then I'd be wondering like why is the Joker actually after? Does anyone have anything else to bring up? Like any facts before we get our overall and final ratings?
I feel like when you told me about that, there was another
The two
version.
movies.
Yeah, it kind of.
Suicide Squad 2.
They just put out the same movie.
Yeah,
2
really-
years from now, it's a sequel, but it's like
Maybe really want to watch that version just because
you're not getting it.
I know, but like, don't get me
51,
wrong,
man.
Suicide Squad was super
That's what it
fun,
is.
Deep
but
in the
I think I would
Lambo's
want
attic.
more. I think I want it to be a little bit more
You
serious
want
than it
more.
was. To be honest, like,
Yeah.
overall, like it was like yeah, we can have some good jokes, like.
Yeah.
It was awesome, like it was fun, but then it was like I kind of want that more serious, and they really did deep into some of those characters and kind of made it more that serious. And then they just fucking threw you a curveball and just like hit you right in the noggin.
Threw you a
Oh,
boomerang.
right in the noggin.
Boomerang, yeah, no,
Right in
you'll
the
get hit
balls,
once, but
yeah.
twice.
You got a boomerang right in the balls because you don't have the balls to do it.
You won't do it.
Anyways, oh, sorry, you're not. Sorry.
Oh,
Well, yeah,
It's
come
tough.
on.
There's 5 of us.
jeez.
And,
We've never
and
done
then they
this
just
before.
throw you these stupid one-liners that just don't make any sense.
And those are the ones, though, like a lot of them.
That's
are
what
that
really
were added,
killed-
though.
yeah,
Like,
that's what
all
really
the
killed the
lots of
movie for
humor.
me.
Yeah.
It's like the Croc wasn't even supposed to be in it. They just added it.
You don't think Flag's in it? You don't think Croc's in it?
My theory is valid.
Anything to say before we get our final thoughts? No.
I can't think of anything.
I'm gonna go first because I think we should end on a high because I think Taylor will go high, and I want to end on a high. I didn't want to not like this movie. I wanted to love this movie. I wanted to love it so bad. I wanted to finally be like, you know what? There's a DCEU film that I fucking love. But no, I live in a world where the thing is Man of Steel, BVS, and Suicide Squad. And I actually like BVS, but it's nowhere near how good it could actually be. Batman v Superman, the story should be phenomenal. As a quick aside, before I give my final note, I just want to say that anybody that signed the Rotten Tomatoes petition, you're just a
What's
fucking loser.
What is this petition?
Oh, you haven't heard about it?
No.
I don't think so.
So what happens was, before 17,000 people had signed this petition before the movie had come out. They saw the Rotten Tomatoes score at 36%. The guy that started the petition wanted Rotten Tomatoes to be shut down because they're DC biased. I want to lay some truth on the fucking dumb people in the world.
Shots fired.
And if you listen to this podcast and you feel offended for me calling you that, I don't care. I don't want you type of people listening to this podcast.
Wow.
Sorry.
Oh,
I don't think I've ever seen Travis like this, to be honest.
That's
Because
so awesome.
Rotten Tomatoes is an aggregator. They do not review anything. They don't have critics. They take reviews from everybody else and they make a percentage of what people are thinking. So that means all 17,000 of you that sign it are just fucking dumb and you're fucking idiots. Like, no.
Ouch.
Mind you, this is him talking.
Yeah, no, it's just me. It's
This is
not. This
not
is Travis
Geek
Snail. This is Travis Snail
His thoughts
because
are his own.
yeah, because use your brain. You're getting a great entertainment personality, Dan Merle, follow him, Screen Junkies, whole deal. He said this great tweet of, it's like getting mad at the news for reporting the news. It makes no sense. Rotten Tomatoes is not biased. And
you can get mad at the news. They report some.
I hate the news. Fox News.
I'm just saying if I get shot and they say Travis Neal got shot, you can't be fucking CBS.
Oh,
like, it's just like,
hear that.
But, and the kicker is, Warner Brothers owns 30% of Rotten Tomatoes. Check your facts before you sign a petition and stop being crybabies about it. If people don't like your movie, so fucking what? I don't like this movie, and guess what? Taylor loves it. I'm thrilled that Taylor loves this movie. I want to be Taylor. I want to like this movie so much.
Like Taylor.
Yeah.
But guess what?
I'll strive to be like Taylor.
I don't text Taylor in the middle of the night and be like, you're a fucking idiot for liking this movie. Like, I don't understand it, and this is the thing.
I can just picture Taylor like sleepy and he wakes up. He's like,
in the morning. Fuck you, smiley face.
All these negative
An
things.
animated picture of Travis's face.
All these negative things are being tweeted and said. You're like proving the people right about the generations that say this generation is a piece of crap. And I know DC fans, there's many people that are on Twitter that I talk to that are great. I talked to a guy today that I said I hated Leto. He saw it was fine. We had a good conversation and we laughed. Where other people will say like
laugh just like the Joker.
No, I didn't see that. But like,
yeah.
if a movie about a man that dresses up as a bat, a guy who's a fucking clown, and a weird ass looking witch is that important to you, or BVS that's that important to you that you're gonna like threaten someone's life or tell them to go kill themselves, like you really need to reevaluate your life, and you're just pathetic. Now, on to that, the movie for me is bad. It is an awful movie. It has great parts. Because I'm not like them. I didn't like the first half. There's stuff I like maybe. No. I like parts of the first half.
I heard you laugh a couple times.
No, that's what I mean. There's moments in the first half, but it's not for you guys. It was like, oh, you like that first half, then it switched.
Yeah.
For me, it was just like I just wasn't really into it all the way.
I'm getting feisty over here listening to this man talk. Like, don't touch my foot again.
Sorry. I'll text you in the middle of the night.
I'll do it.
Pros: Harley Quinn's great.
Oh yeah.
Will Smith is great. The way they use Batman's great. Amanda Waller's great. There's some great. The team has some good chemistry. Some of the people they get along good.
They're family.
Well, they're family.
Family.
I'd be interested in a Suicide Squad 2 if a lot of things changes, but there are some stuff to like, and you know I understand why people like this better than BVS. It's a lot of fun to have for certain people. I did not have the same fun, but there's lots of moments I actually laughed. It's not the worst movie ever, but there's a lot of bad and a lot negative, and the negative for me fully outweighs the positive. I'm seeing it tomorrow. The score could change. As of right now, there's not enough positive for me to give this a pass. I'm giving it a 4.5 right now.
Rotten.
I think
Rotten rating.
it could honestly get as high as 4.9. I don't know if it can actually crack 5. Because for me, I love the Harley Quinn stuff. There's a lot of stuff I actually love in the movie and I like. Or no, actually I shouldn't say it. I can count on my one hand, what the stuff I like. And that to me is not enough for me to pass it. I can't say like, oh, I like 5 things, and that's why I should give it even 50%.
Think of one more, and then you'll be over.
Yeah. So for me, and it gets negative downgrade. It could have been like 6, but for the Joker alone.
For like every one good thing, there's like 3 bad.
Yeah, and the Joker alone is like 100 bad things.
Yeah.
Like that is like a whole thing. So I want to start because I'm the most negative I know. So for me, a 4.5. I would recommend go seeing it. I think people might like it. I know lots of people don't like it as well. But I think you got to see it to have an opinion. What? Yeah, I give it that. Yeah, so yeah, that's me. 4.5 out of 10. I'm gonna see it again tomorrow. I'm hoping I like it more.
Fingers crossed.
I'll say the same thing when I put the glasses on.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing it with 3 people that haven't seen it at all. So I want to hear them.
Again?
No, I want to do 2D this time.
So you won't
Actually, I don't think I can because it's like at 4 p.m. and like I don't think it's too early. But I'm excited to hear more people talk because it's the BVS thing again.
It's a good controversial movie.
Oh yeah, it's BVS all over.
You want to hear other people's opinions on it.
Everybody has a different opinion on this movie, so that's it. That's me. I'm done.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like
go take a shower to cool off.
There's a lot of people who would like this movie. That's for sure.
Yeah,
they would be down for. Oh, I really love the soundtrack. The music's amazing, or whatnot.
If you don't want to listen to music, just play this movie and you'll hear some classic music.
Oh, for sure.
Buy the soundtrack for sure.
Yeah.
And if you can get past and if you're one of those people who likes the cheesiness and like they don't care, like, oh, I really like that. I thought that was so cool. Like,
if you don't care about story,
I guess if you don't care about story,
but like for me, I do.
Like
so
my mom would love this movie.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're trying to cater this more towards than.
I guess, but then I always saw Guardians in your face of like, look how well that was, right?
Yeah, but this isn't Marvel.
Oh, I know, but
fuck Marvel.
Fuck Marvel. Yeah, fuck. I forgot about fuck Marvel, right? Yeah. Sorry, I just had to throw that out there.
I don't know, but for me, like, for myself, like, I liked the movie, but it wasn't like I really like stories and I really like characters and I really liked what they were trying to do with some of the stuff, but a lot of the cheesiness really took me out of it. So if I were gonna rate it, I guess I'm gonna say like a 5.5, just because I did really like that beginning portion of it all, and I'm gonna be it's better than I think I liked it more than BVS.
BVS for me for sure.
Yeah.
We know,
sure.
we know, Travis.
Yeah.
You're such a hater.
I'm sorry. At this point, I've actually forgotten like everything I said. I feel like I've had like a blackout.
Yeah.
So I'm like, did I say that?
And I think it just has like
water.
Will Smith and Margot
Margie.
Marcus.
What up, Margie?
Hey,
They really like knocked it out of the
Dr.
park.
Quinzel.
Like, they did such a good job.
Queenie.
So,
Yeah.
that I think they really saved Wall.
They did like if they like.
I don't think if they were.
Oh no.
That could've-
Oh no.
This movie would be
straight to DVD.
Yeah. Two characters
Straight
that
to
did
VHS.
really
This
well.
movie.
Straight to
And the alpha guy. Don't forget.
Oh yeah,
him.
the alpha guy, which was
Who's the
You're
alpha guy?
killing it.
Oh
That
yeah,
guy.
yeah, the jail guy. Yeah. So,
Final thoughts, Kirkland?
My final thoughts. I actually saw like Will Smith actually like made like a comment on like how poorly like the ratings were doing, and I actually really like agreed with what he was saying. I was like, the critics definitely didn't like it, but what's going on, Travis?
Oh, I just
You have an
you just
aneurysm or
reminded
something?
me. David Ayer, I'm a real person, and I don't like your fucking movie. He said he made this movie for real people.
For real people.
Yeah, so it's like, just because the critics don't agree...
You're just a fake, Travis.
Just because the critics don't agree with you, you're like, oh, they're fake people.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah.
But if the critics love this, they would have been like, oh, yeah, we love that. We made it for them. We wanted this to be something
We made this
special.
for the critics. We made this for the ratings.
Well, Travis got paid to do a bad rating.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, next episode, I'll show you our check from Marvel. We got the contract. We all signed. Well, actually, they did, but I signed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck DC. No. Even though, you know,
They pay
my
us
favorite movie all time is
Yeah.
The Dark Knight. No big deal. Fuck
Yeah.
DC. You know.
But yeah, no. What Will Smith said, he's like, yeah, the critics might not like, but like once like the fans see it, then like the ratings will probably change. Which I definitely agree, because there obviously are like the crowds that love it, and then like we liked it and stuff. So like it's definitely not a 27% or whatever Rotten Tomatoes rating is for me. Like like I mentioned, I like for the first half, I was really engaged in this movie. Like Enchantress' character, I thought she was a really creepy, dark character that I wanted to know more about. I mentioned that scene a couple times. So, like when she like when she like swaps into
So cool.
Enchantress. Yeah, it's so cool. But like,
Great gift.
That's gonna be my Halloween costume.
yeah,
The Enchantress.
It's like-
I'm gonna do that.
I don't know, like
I'm gonna find a white
I'm gonna
man.
go around doors. I'm gonna go through doors and around walls.
Where are you? I'm Enchantress'
Yeah.
hand. Let's go on.
yeah, but
I was
yeah,
actually
no,
I was
like
the actor.
Oh, the hand.
Yeah.
Just the hand.
I'm a hand actor.
I'm a hand.
One of the most beautiful hands in the world.
I guess like the big thing we're comparing it to is BVS, and
yes.
like
I think it's fair for people that
Yeah.
maybe why because
No,
it's like
yeah,
it came
totally.
out a couple months ago.
totally like it definitely is like I don't know what you'd call it, the sibling to the
Oh,
movie. So like for me, the reason I think that I like it more than BVS is just because like I was I don't like it was fun, like it was like a ride, like
Yeah.
for like the first half, and I was really engaged in it, and like I said, but like it was definitely like that. Everyone I think knows the bar scene. That was like the flipping moment, and it's just like it just started going downhill from there. And like I was just like, what's gonna happen next? It's not like, oh, like I'm so pumped to find out what's gonna happen next. It's just like, oh. So it's like, yeah, it's like that. It's just like you just scratch your head. You're like, that's the best thing that they chose to have in a movie. Like, who writes these things? Like, that's the sort of questions you're asking. So, like I think I'm gonna rate it like a 6.8, 6.9.
Wow.
So, and my
6.9.
BVS rating was actually higher than that, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
That's fair.
I like it more.
Yeah.
The critics, yeah.
So wait, you ranked BVS higher?
Yeah, but like looking back on
I actually
it,
don't remember what I rated BVS.
I think I rated BVS like a 7.7 or something. Mid 7.
You were like 7.5. You were a 4.
So,
I can't remember because you went on that cast.
If I'm gonna be for argument's sake, I'm gonna change my BVS rating to like a 7, and then my
That still doesn't work.
Whatever this movie is,
Squad,
I'll do like a 7.1.
Okay, I'm like you gave a 6.9. I'm like it's still higher
because it's definitely a movie. Like my coworker, she's asked me about it. I'm like, yeah, you'd probably like it. Like it's definitely. Like, I think it's worth the watch for sure.
If any of your coworkers ask.
Yeah, if any of your coworkers ask, and they're not like diehards on the Joker, like they don't wear Joker shirts all the time.
They're not those kind of nerds.
I feel like a lot of people are gonna like.
Who am I? I'm the Joker.
I feel like a lot of people are gonna like not per se love the movie, just like it. So.
Yeah. It's like, you ever hear that bird? Like,
Dylan,
that was good.
Dylan Musk, what are you giving this rating, and what's your final thoughts?
The mustache.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the mustache.
That's my new nickname.
Mustache.
That's the thing, right? When it comes down to Nick Flag, like, if I can insult a man's mustache, and, like, I got this greasy thing going, like, wow, like, that must be a pretty bad mustache.
One thing before you go, does anyone feel like he had a haircut throughout the movie? Because I felt like when he was on the field, it was really short, and then at the end of the movie and at the beginning, his hair was like back.
Honestly, when they first showed him, it's like, oh, I know this special ops guy that can like, and then like they introduce him, and then it shows like when he walks in and like Enchantress is in the tub or whatever. I honestly didn't even think that was the same actor. Like it just totally looked different from him.
There was that, I remember that exactly.
Yeah. I was just like, who is this guy? And then they're like talking about like he's like the new leader or whatever. I'm like, where did this guy come from? Like, where's the other guy? Where's Enchantress' boyfriend?
Where's Slipknot?
Where's Alpha 1?
Yeah, no. So for me, I think I agree with Kirkland pretty much. It was a much more fun experience than BVS, right? And so the reason is what I said before, how I didn't actually know what was going to happen. BVS was like, I've been here for like, how long is that movie? 4 hours? And it's like, wow.
2.5.
4 hours.
With this movie, I didn't know what was going to happen next. And yeah, I wasn't like, you know, I don't know. It wasn't super exciting. Like, the anticipation wasn't huge, but it was like, yeah, I want to see what happens. I really liked Deadshot. He was really good.
Oh, yeah.
I really liked Harley Quinn. I thought she was really good.
Oh.
Amanda Waller, she was pretty good. And then I liked Enchantress. I know you guys are all filthy haters, but
I like
you just don't have the balls to like her. So.
I didn't like her God mode. I didn't like her Final Form. No. I liked her Peasant mode.
Her peasant mode? Her peasant mode is pretty good. There's definitely like
I hate this movie.
I really like Captain Boomerang. I thought he was fast and fun and friendly. Captain Boomerang.
Captain Boomerang.
Yeah.
The name's so nice.
Honestly,
you say it twice.
Honestly, until we started doing the review, I did not know that was his name.
What?
I did not know. I didn't know what they called him.
See, Scarlet Witch, Incubus, start saying these characters' fucking names more.
Oh, he's just
it's just a fanboy thing.
He's the Australian.
I didn't know his name was Captain Boomerang until I was watching the movie, but I figured it out during the movie, so.
I didn't.
At least I
so Dylan's smarter than you is what he's trying to say.
More observant.
But I mean, yeah, Diablo didn't need to be there. Croc, why was he there? Despise Nick Flag with all of my life.
Apparently,
so bad. Like it was just awful. It was just the worst part of the movie. Joker was really bad.
Who am I?
Katana. I mean, I don't even.
Honestly,
it's hard to like.
I forgot about it. Like she's actually such a forgettable.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't remember what because obviously I wasn't on the BVS review episode, but I'd probably give it a review at some point. I don't remember. I probably gave it like a 6. I'd give this movie like a 7. It was fun. Getting out of this, like I was like, okay, I'll definitely watch this again someday. BVS, I was like, I don't really ever want to see that again.
Yeah.
So
I've seen it. Yeah.
I mean, that's a movie. It's better than BVS in my opinion. It was good. It was fun.
Taylor, round us out.
Well, okay.
Like the field.
Well, sorry, I didn't know really what was going on, so I sat down to this movie. I knew it was filled with bad guys. And
filled to the brim. Almost too many.
Completely.
Are they really that bad though?
It had a convex layer
no,
on it.
No, they were that soft spots down there.
More fucking bad.
But no, I sat down, I watched it, I got sucked into that world of Will Smith and West Midtown, wherever that was.
Assassin's Creed trailer.
Assassin's Creed trailer, the bar was set so high, and then followed by Wonder Woman. I just thought, let's just keep getting better, and then Dunkirk. But anyways, so
Dunkirk.
Next week, check that out on Newscast. Let's
gonna
talk about that. We're gonna talk about maybe do some news next week or the week after.
Do they have a bigger trailer? Or
No.
Is it, yeah, okay.
It's Nolan. They don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway,
Mr.
so
Nolan.
it
He
was
feeds
off
you
to a
that
great
shit like
start.
breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
So it was off to a great start. I loved the intro. I thought it's the way they were just dishing out the characters. They had the main characters a little bit longer intros, and then they kept going on. I
Whoever
liked
was
that.
paid more.
Yeah, whoever's paid most had the better intro. I really enjoyed the characters. With certain movies, like if they're way too in depth and way too long and prolonged getting to know a character, I just kind of lose interest. But they did it really quick, and like they did it quick enough that it wasn't so quick you wouldn't catch on to them. I caught on enough that like it's quick.
So
I
quick
liked
you
it.
lose it.
So quick you lose
track
it.
of it.
You lose track of it, just like Katana. No, overall, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a fun ride, just like you guys said. I got sucked into it. I liked it more than Batman vs Superman. The fact that I didn't know who the villain was is another huge thing that I really enjoyed because for me,
I'll give them credit for that.
I liked it until I found out.
Yeah.
True.
I was clued in the fact that Enchantress was probably the villain at a certain point, but then when she pulls out her brother, I like that as a big surprise, knowing there's this whole new enemy thrown into the movie because I don't get that kind of a surprise in movies nowadays. I find that a lot to be lacking in most movies. I know he wasn't the greatest character to deliver, but
Some random guy in the bathroom.
some random bathroom guy.
Random bathroom guy.
Hence
They
the
look
Poop
like
monsters.
the Rainbow Bridge thrown together.
Rainbow Bridge. Such a hard map.
But I mean,
They're racing all over him.
You just see you zoom in, you see like Mario or something.
It's Rainbow Road.
Yeah.
to go over a rating, I give it
This
one.
guy.
Yeah.
So intense.
I give it Killer Croc. But I'm gonna count.
You give it a Killer Croc?
I'm going up like
Killer
this.
Croc
This is
out
my
of
rating.
10.
Killer Croc is one reason. I love Killer Croc from that. Will Smith.
You don't actually
Harley
have to count
Quinn.
out your rating of
I'm going to. So you guys
every
don't know
good
when
thing
I'm gonna
on
stop.
is one rating. Just to let you guys know.
So,
Because I feel
Killer
like you
Croc.
like more than 10 things about this movie.
No. It's not full on 10.
Oh, okay.
No.
Let's go.
So Killer Croc, Will Smith, Harley Quinn, Will Smith's Debbie
Will Smith again.
his scene in the shootout scene.
Killer
and
Croc.
then-
Killer Croc.
Slipknot.
And Killer Croc.
Joker's phone.
That was so funny.
I'm coming. We're close.
He's trying not to laugh. Will Smith, when he was in the city shooting the bad guys, I absolutely love that scene. Joker at the end, when he busted Harley Quinn, I don't know why. I think that was probably just my favorite scene of him.
I
when
liked
he
it the way
busted her.
Travis envisioned it. I want to see this movie that Travis directed.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll edit this movie and
Yeah.
watch it again.
Write a
Big
script.
up and coming.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be
Oh.
really cool.
I have no shot at directing any of these movies now. I feel like in my filmmaker aspirations, who knows? Hey, I'm giving you 2 times the money this weekend, so it's like
DC.
I say this, but it's like I'm giving you my money. I ain't fucking illegally torrenting this.
Some of the music, I didn't mind all of it. I like most of it. The intro, I love the
Says
intro.
6.5 then.
Still going. I love the
where are
intro. The intro is awesome.
We're at an 8.
We're at 8.
Wow.
And then I have to say
Oh,
the
You have to say it.
I wasn't gonna go with 10, but I think I'm gonna have to. The cameos. I'm a sucker for cameos. I love seeing the Flash and Batman and all that stuff. I love
You're
seeing that. That's why I
That
love
was
the
good.
Marvel
The Stan
movies
Lee
too.
scene.
Oh yeah, Stan Lee, so good. And then
What if
10,
Stan Lee was just slipping?
At 10.
10 I'm
I'd
gonna
rather be
say
the Joker.
I'm gonna say it was Slipknot when he dies. Just when
That
Boomerang
was actually
when
really
Boomerang
funny.
tricked
It was
him.
funny.
I
I don't think Boomerang tricked him. I thought Boomerang had no idea either.
Wait,
I thought.
Oh, he was
I
actually
thought
seeing if he would die.
sure.
I thought he
True.
was testing
He was
him.
seeing-
True,
seeing.
yeah.
See if it was real or
But
not.
I thought that was hilarious. So
You
I'll
will
give
do
it
it.
10.
Wow,
Wow.
10 out of
Perfect
10.
So,
movie.
sorry, just to reiterate, you rate your movies based on just the movie itself.
Just the movie.
Okay.
If I was comparing it to Batman vs Superman, then Batman vs Superman, because I gave that by itself. What did I give it? Like a 9
9,
something.
yeah.
Then I would lower it And then I would lower
What I did.
Suicide Squad if I was comparing the two together.
Okay.
And on the
Here's-
Taylor rating,
Yeah.
for GeekVerse people that know, you divide by 2 and then divide...
You divide by 2 and add 2.
Add 2, so Taylor is actually giving this movie a 7. That is the Taylor rating.
Yeah,
That's actually the average score. That makes a lot of sense.
It actually works
It's actually-
100%
It's actually
of
a
the time.
great mathematical formula.
It has never not worked.
Yeah.
So
So let's ask you between Ghost Rider 2 and Suicide Squad.
Ghost Rider. Oh, by far.
Oh.
by far.
By far.
Why
Nicolas
would you
Cage.
do that?
I'd still
If
rather
Nicolas
watch Suicide
Cage-
Squad than Ghost Rider. I'll throw that out.
If they put Nicolas Cage in Suicide Squad, for all those weird, creepy moments, if it was Nicolas Cage doing the hand thing, I'd be all more into that.
Well, guys, with this review, we made it. Check out our Netflix and fail.
Nick Cage. I love me some Nick Cage.
Nicholas.
I think this was a great episode. This
think
was a
so.
long. I think this is gonna go on clock as our longest episode. But you know what? I think it's all
Longer than BBS?
We're almost at the 3-hour mark.
Holy!
How long was BBS? 2.5? or
2.5,
something?
yeah.
Okay.
And I feel like legitimately this is already one of my favorite ones, just because I feel like there's lots of good discussion. We broke
Oh, yeah.
down. I feel like everything.
I feel like
It's not like
you
we
got
all-
to express your feelings.
Yeah.
That too. I've just been. I think if I did it, we did it the night before because I had to hold it in the
Yeah.
whole day, just fuming
Yeah.
about like my problems with this
Yeah.
movie and just seeing those DC like shitty fanboys. Of,
I love that we all had our different opinions on it.
Yeah, and we
Yeah,
all like had
that's
different
it, yeah.
ideas. It was like, and like I don't know. These are my favorite casts when we get to get in depth.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I love when everyone loves a movie, but like those aren't as.
I
fun.
love that Killer Croc. It's Taylor's favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, by far.
I love that you had Will
By
Smith
far.
twice on your ratings, so that was just that made my night.
And I was
Perfect.
Slipknot made it a 10.
Taylor. Where can they find us for all our other great stuff out there?
Well, if you got that
If you wanna be our
handy
friend.
Samsung phone on your pocket,
We'll be your friend.
you can find
Samsung,
us.
sponsor us.
Yeah, Samsung sponsor us.
We also need
All
a
your
drone.
boomerangs.
Jared Leto.
Yeah,
We need a
you
drone.
probably make those too, don't you?
Jared Leto for GeekVerse. Hashtag 2017. Make it happen, fans.
Yeah.
You guys can find us on Facebook, actually. GeekVerse Space Podcast in that search bar. We are there. We have tons of stuff. We're almost like thousands of listeners or subscribers on Facebook. right
Give or
now.
take a few.
Yeah, give or take a few.
Definitely a few.
No, we're getting there though.
They're all bots.
Yes, you can find us all paid for.
We pay for it.
At GeekVerse Cast
Reviews.
on Twitter for all show updates about the spin-offs, this show, anything else we do. SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube. Please subscribe. YouTube is the live stream. iTunes, SoundCloud is the audio podcast edition. Please subscribe, review, rate us. With this podcast especially, let us know in a cool way. If you're not cool, I'm just going to ignore you or kind of make fun of you. Like,
Unless when we actually see your message, we may respond differently. You'll know who responds.
Yeah, you will. When you do sign off.
It's a 50-50. You don't know what comment you're going to get.
I just want to be everyone's friend.
You
But
don't
yeah.
have balls.
Thank you for listening to
These
this.
quotes. Such a quotable movie. I love it.
For the wrong
I
reasons.
can't wait. Yeah.
We do not know what we're talking about next week, but I promise you it is not going to be boring. It is going to be fantastic.
Hashtag save him.
Yeah. So hashtag save animal. Thank you very much for tuning in.